You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 4 o'clock right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, tracking the aftermath of Saturday's deadly tornado outbreak.
We now know at least 6 people were killed when storms with winds up to 140 miles per hour ripped through parts of Middle Tennessee.
And we have 2 confirmed tornadoes as of right now, but National Weather Service crews back out again today to survey more damage. Potentially up to 13 tornadoes touched down over the weekend.
And go ahead and take a look at this TDOT camera showing the moment 1 of 13 confirmed tornadoes went ahead and touched down over in Goodlettsville. This is on Saturday.
Yeah, we understand this morning that this massive destruction as a result of these tornadoes, hundreds of people, if not thousands, to be honest with you, thousands of people ultimately impacted here from southern Kentucky through Clarksville, Springfield, Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin. That damage is widespread.
Yeah, we want to start by thanking you, of course, for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News on a Monday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Yeah, glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. And we begin our team coverage this morning as we track the aftermath across Middle Tennessee. You know, some of the worst damage found in Clarksville.
Yeah, parts of Clarksville just trying to wake up and figure out what's next. We now know an EF3 tornado touched down with winds of up to 140 miles per hour. The tornado's path was nearly 50 miles long. We're going to go ahead and begin our coverage.
Yeah, let's do it right now with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse. She joins us live from Clarksville with a closer look at the damage there.
Good morning, guys. Now, I have been in Clarksville 3 times now. I was here originally on Saturday right after the tornado touchdown, and I just want to tell you all what I saw. I saw more destruction this time. I'm not exactly too sure why. I think it's early in the morning. There was some roads that my photographer and I, Ryan, went down, and I didn't see these in the amount of light that I've seen today. Now, a lot of people that I've spoken with in this area, they lost their homes, they lost their neighbors, they lost their pets, they lost furniture. Now, some of the facts that we know that you all mentioned earlier, the length of this tornado was about just nearly 50 miles long. Now, another thing that National Weather Service tells us, 600 yards. That's how big, that's how massive this tornado was. And that's just about 5 football fields. Just to put that into perspective. Now, Clarksville, this area, I spoke with Brett Luna, one of our meteorologists, last night, and he was telling me this is the worst area from what we see so far in terms of damage. Now, the path, nearly 50 miles, to get to Nashville, that's about 38 miles from here. So just think about how long and how massive this thing was. I spoke with people who clearly lost everything. A lot of them are just asking for prayers right now. You can head over to our website at fox17.com to see ways on how you can help those that are in need in this area. Reporting live in Clarksville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. Continuing our team coverage now, 3 people killed in Madison Saturday night when a confirmed EF2 tornado touched down along Nesbitt Lane.
Yeah, so right now that's where we're going to find Fox 17 News reporter Amanda Chen with the very latest information. Amanda.
Good morning. As you mentioned, we are here in Nesbitt Lane in Madison. And as you just mentioned, we know that there are 3 deaths that happened here on this street, including the death of a 2-year-old boy. Now, Metro Police tell us a mobile home toppled on top of another mobile home, and that's how those deaths occurred. But I want to step aside here and show you just some of the damage we are seeing. We know that several homes are leveled, but it is dark right now, so we will show you what we are seeing right behind us on the street. We have several branches on the ground, debris, signs toppled. You can see some items from homes on the ground. People still just trying to recover and pick up what was left behind from this EF2 tornado that touched down. We do know that there were 21 others that were injured, but the National Weather Service says this EF2 tornado is the width of more than 3 football fields. Just to put that into perspective, we are still waiting on the length of the tornado, but the width, again, more than 3 football fields. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. 4:05 right now. We have new information coming in as far as the tornadoes themselves, Greg, things like wind speeds, the length that they traveled, which looks to be one of those factors they're still trying to determine.
This is a long process when you have a day like what happened and when there could be up to 13 confirmed tornadoes. These are the stats that Amanda just told you. I want to put them not on paper but on screen for you so you can see. In EF2, 125 mile per hour wind speeds. This can take roofs off houses. This can cause a lot of damage and it can be unfortunately life-threatening. We don't know the length yet. We're going to have that determined later today, and then they're going to continue to survey out in the Gallatin area. Path width. We're doing a real good job here, team, of making sure you give perspective. What is 400 yards? It's 4 football fields. So if you're sitting at Nissan Stadium watching a Titans game or you're watching your high school football game, imagine 4 of what the kids are going from one end to the other or the Titans are going one end to the other, and that is how big this was when it moved in. Here we are when it comes to the weather story. We're just going to be working on the aftermath for you this week because thankfully we have no significant weather in any way, shape, or form except for cold mornings. And that's not good for folks that don't have power. That's not good for people that are displaced and maybe don't even know where they can still go yet. So we've got to watch the cold mornings in the 20s on the right side of your screen. Calm and sunny though later on this afternoon. We'll be in the 40s. We will get you your 7-day forecast, but our main coverage this morning is just going to make sure that everyone knows what happened over the weekend. Maybe you were south of I-40, you got the rain, you had some severe thunderstorms, but you didn't get the brunt of the damage. You need to see what our neighbors to the north are doing if you're in that area.
Greg, thank you. 4:06 is the time. Right now we're checking in on your steer clear traffic updates, seeing what's going on out there. Right now this area, I-65 Fern Avenue, is looking very good, giving you the green light if you're heading out the door already, heading to work this early Monday morning. Again, I-65 Fern Avenue looking really good. We'll continue following your traffic updates though, of course, throughout 9 a.m.
Okay. We're live this morning in Hendersonville, where the recovery is still happening. We're going to tell you about the good news that has happened overnight here in Hendersonville.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 4:09. We have continuing team coverage this morning as not only we track the damage left behind by the tornadoes, but we look ahead to what's next for so many of our communities. We know an EF2 tornado hit part of Hendersonville. That's one of those storms that left a wide path of destruction.
Right now, Fox 17 News reporter Justin McFarland is joining us live in Hendersonville with a lot going on behind you. But what is the latest update there?
So the latest update is this here in Hendersonville. I drove through this area yesterday. It was completely in the dark. Not a light bulb was on this time yesterday in Hendersonville. This morning, the lights are back on. At least a lot of them are. And there's still around 8,000 customers without power. A lot of them are here in Hendersonville. But the street lights along Main Street are back up and operating. But now the aftermath is still back here behind us. You can see these trailers were tossed like toys, children's toys, all over this particular yard. This is right next door to that big play that we've shown you so much in recent days. Of course, they had their back wall blown out, but it was right next door where you can see the damage left over. Thankfully, no one was in these trailers when they were tossed around by the wind like this. They still have a state of emergency declared here in Hendersonville so they can get the federal and state money that they are looking to get here so they can get the assistance that they want from the state of Tennessee. They're also asking the community not to be looky-loos, coming around taking pictures, things like that. That is not what's needed right now. They say they want people to take the time to make sure they have the time they need to recover. The people who actually want to come in here and do the work, put their hands on things and move things around. Now, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to tell you about some of the other local people here who are trying to recover in Hendersonville and some of the things that they're asking for. We're live for you this morning. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
There are so many pieces to this weather puzzle still when it comes to surveys, what tornado was what and where, because they went into multiple towns. A lot of them were long tracks and a lot of them have put out power. This map does look better than yesterday morning. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But we're back into areas where they're trying to get crews out there to restore the power. All of the hard hit areas, though, Montgomery County, Davidson County, Sumner County, and that's going to continue to slowly get better, but it's not going to happen very quickly. So we're going to keep our eyes on those for you, not just this morning, but throughout the afternoon and the coming days. This is the weather system that brought in our storms 2 days ago. It is off to the East Coast, providing them with snow, not tornadoes. Nothing off to our west. We're going to be sunny the entire day, but cold. We're starting in the 20s to right near 30 degrees to kick off this morning.
Greg, thank you very much. And steer clear traffic right now. Want to give you an all clear around the mid-state. This is I-24 at I-440. No problems here. In fact, very quiet. With several of our school districts that will be out today due to roads still being closed. A lot of families having no power. We have a lot of children and families that won't be going to school today. So maybe a little bit of a lighter traffic day, and that is the case. I-24 at I-440 right now. We'll check in again on steer clear traffic in just a few minutes.
3 lives lost here in Madison after a tornado rips through the community. The damage left behind.
4:14 is the time this Monday morning here on Fox 17 News, and we are continuing our team coverage with Amanda Chin. She has the very latest information this morning. You are in Madison, so Amanda, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Erica. You're right. I am here on Nesbitt Lane in Madison, where we know that unfortunately 3 people died on this street. Metro Police tell us that a man's mobile home toppled on top of another mobile home, and that's how those 3 deaths occurred. One of those deaths is just a 2-year-old little boy. Now, I do want to show you kind of the damage that we're seeing this morning. Obviously, as the sun rises, we'll be able to see more of these homes that were leveled here on the street. There's still no power here, but you see debris on the ground, street signs, branches, belongings from homes all around this area here. Again, it is quite dark, but as the sun rises, you'll be able to see more of the damage that we've been seeing here. Now, we do know that 21 others have been injured, and the National Weather Service says this EF2 tornado was the width of more than 3 football fields. Just to put that into perspective, we still don't know the length of this EF2 tornado, but the National Weather Service does confirm that the width was more than 3 football fields. So quite a large tornado that hit this community here. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Amanda, thank you. That's where I was reporting live
Yesterday,
Sunday morning, and it's impressive because they have cleared out that road where Amanda is standing. So Nesbitt Lane, when we were there yesterday morning, it was impassable.
And so many trees were uprooted right behind you. And I know Greg was talking about how the drought conditions made it so that the trees were easily able to be uprooted.
Yeah, there was no moisture in the ground, so the roots didn't have anything to stick to. So as soon as the wind came in, it just plucked them out of the ground. I mean, you have the caution tape behind you, but the best part about what I saw from you yesterday was the spirit of people.
Oh yeah,
gosh,
they brought Deborah. I will never forget Deborah, her coffee.
Yeah, in case y'all missed it, yesterday morning we were out there, and so it was pitch dark, and we'll just have quick story time, okay? It's pitch dark. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the street is so like eerily quiet, and I could hear something coming from one of the houses, and a lady, a homeowner by the name of Deborah, kind of peeked her head out the door. It pitch dark, and I could see she had a tiny flashlight, and I was so shocked that anybody was there.
Right.
And she yelled out and she said, "Y'all have any hot coffee or a phone charger?"
Now, did you give her those hot hands?
I gave her hot hands.
Okay.
Yeah, to keep her warm, and then we had a neighbor step up to go get some coffee once the sun came up.
All she wanted was a phone charger,
And
coffee,
some hot
and
coffee.
a biscuit.
And so, so we found a neighbor who went to get coffee. And then Deborah, did y'all catch, I don't know if Deborah said that her dead phone, and I know her phone was dead because she showed it to me.
The hot hands.
Yes, when we gave her the hot hands, she put the hot hands in her pocket with her phone, and she came out to me like an hour later and said, "You're never going to believe this."
That's a theory we need to test out.
I know.
Okay.
We do need to, and just her demeanor,
The spirit
given what
of it.
happened.
Yes.
She was so sweet. She was so kind. And that was almost everyone that we talked to.
Well, and just, a glass half full mentality, right? She just kept saying, "I can replace all this stuff. I can replace all this stuff." She was so thankful.
Well, we're the
just to
volunteer
be
state
there.
for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, there we are. People stepped up and brought her coffee. Here's what we were just talking about, though, when it comes to Davidson and Sumner County. EF2 damage. Now, we don't know the length, but we know that this tornado was about 400 yards in width. That is about 4 football fields. Now, the wind speeds can be between 111 and 135. They were at 125. Roofs were torn off of well-constructed homes. Foundations of frames shifted. Large trees were uprooted that we just saw, and cars were lifted off the ground. Coming up in the next check of your forecast, we'll look at what happened in Clarksville, where it was an EF3 tornado. So we'll look at that, and we'll keep our eyes rolling into just everything that comes into the Weather Center throughout the morning.
All right, Greg, thank you. Steer clear traffic. I want to alert you to a crash that's just happened on I-24 up in Pleasant View. We do not have a camera at that location, but it's being reported as a multi-vehicle crash on I-24. This is westbound, so this is leaving Nashville and going up toward Pleasant View where that crash has happened. We do have a live look I-24 at Briley Parkway. All's quiet here, and that's really the case around the rest of Middle Tennessee. So with the exception of the one crash in Pleasant View, and a reminder, we do still have some street closures in and around Madison and Hendersonville. Otherwise, steer clear traffic is looking A-OK.
We talk about being the volunteer state, and so many folks are asking, how can I make a difference? How can I get involved? Well, in Clarksville, we now know 10-year-old Arlen Burnham was killed by the EF3 tornado. The National Weather Service confirming the approximate path of that tornado yesterday. They say it was 600 yards wide and remained on the ground for more than 40 miles. Friends of the Burnham family have set up a GoFundMe to benefit the family. And so far, I just checked, the page has raised more than $81,000.
By the way, if you would like to read more about how you can support the Burnham family through that GoFundMe, just head to fox17.com. And switching gears here on this Monday morning, the Tennessee Titans family is mourning the death of all-time Titans great Frank Wycheck. He played for 10 years in the NFL. The majority of his career was right here in Nashville with the Titans. Wycheck had 505 receptions, 28 touchdowns. His most notable play, though, was the Music City Miracle. Wycheck, the catalyst for that historic play. After that playoff game against the Bills, the Titans went on to the Super Bowl, where they just lost, narrowly lost to the Rams. Former teammate Chris Sanders sharing his memories of the tight end.
Everybody knows one about the Music City Miracle. But one of my most memorable things that I remember Frank Wycheck was, he's a great teammate, but we had this one game, we were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And first of all, Frank Wycheck thought he could dance, and he can't. So he catches a touchdown pass, and he tries to do the Macarena. And when he does the Macarena, I grab him. I say, man, don't you ever do that again. And he laughed at me. He said, I'm just giving him my all. So you have situations like that where he loves the game. He's a fierce fighter, but then he has the sense of urgency of saying, you know what, I love doing what I'm doing and smiling. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about Frank. And, I just miss how he was in the locker room. He was funny. He cracked jokes all the time. But most of all, I'm going to miss the man that he was.
Frank Wycheck went on to co-host a popular radio show in our area before calling it a career. He was 52 years old. By the way, initial reports show that he was at his home in Chattanooga and had a fall and hit his head and passed away at home. It's 4:21. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Fox 7.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We're going to take a brief break from some of our tornado coverage to bring you a warning right now. Lest we forget, this is a very busy time of the year. It is the holiday shopping season. And the warning this morning is coming from experts who say con artists are doing everything they can right now to scam us out of our hard work and money. So we have Fox's Brian Webb right now with a story about how some of these criminals are stealing from gift cards without ever even taking the cards with them.
You're looking at a stack of gift cards that are completely worthless. Daniel Hall found out the hard way after buying them for employees at this Scottsdale CVS.
When he opened it, he noticed the numbers were scratched. So he used the barcode to look online to see if it had been loaded or anything, and it had a zero balance on it.
Daniel isn't alone. Gift card cloning is happening in several states. Con artists copy the magnetic strip, then put the card back on the store's shelf. When the card is activated, the grifter gets a notification and spends the money before the consumer can.
When people buy the gift card, they are actually buying something that is immediately drained when the person buys them at the checkout counter.
A retail theft task force recently arrested 8 people and seized thousands of cloned cards. Attorney General Chris Mays says the Grinches bought guns, TVs, and even Red Bull that they would turn around and sell to strip clubs.
We seized more than 10,000 of these cloned gift cards here in Arizona this week. Obviously, we know that's just the tip of the iceberg.
CVS helped Daniel get his money back, so it'll be another happy holidays where he works, but he worries about others not so lucky.
I had the ability to recover from that, but what about a family that, is living paycheck to paycheck and they come in here and buy a card thinking they're getting someone a Christmas gift and it's not?
All right, 426 right now, Fox's Brian Webb reporting. We have all kinds of consumer alert stories posted right now over at fox17.com, just so that you can maybe read those for yourself or share with other people. Think senior citizens in your life who might be an easier victim for some of these scammers, just to help keep them protected.
And 426, I want to show you a big map and kind of break down what this means. I showed this yesterday morning, and every red circle is a report that we got through our radar system of potential tornadoes on the ground. Now, we mentioned that preliminarily, 13 tornadoes likely touched down. There are 18 dots, but what that means is a lot of these could have been one long track tornado. The one Clarksville that went up into southern Kentucky is one of those. We're going to look at that data and those stats for you, and we're going to get more surveys that are coming out today. Basically, what it comes down to is if there was a tornado at this point, it doesn't really matter how strong it was because we're looking at the damage. If someone doesn't have a roof, doesn't have walls for their home, doesn't have power, running water, it's an impact no matter how strong they were. So we'll keep our eyes on that and let you know the 2 reports that we already have so far this morning.
All right, Greg, thank you. Steer clear traffic right now. We're going to take you over by the airport, see how things are shaping up on a Monday morning. This is I-40 at Donaldson Pike. No big backups here, which is great news for anybody who has to get out to the airport for any reason. I'm going to do one quick double check over here. It doesn't even look like we have a big backup on the exit ramps. So that's encouraging news. About a week and a half ago, they opened up some of the free short-term parking spaces so that people don't have to circle the airport, adding to the congestion, and we think maybe that has helped to ease things up over here. Just a quick reminder for you, we are tracking a crash on I-24 in Pleasant View outbound, so going out toward Clarksville. Heads up on that. We'll get another steer clear traffic report in minutes. Right now, as we continue our team coverage in the tornado aftermath, we have thousands of people who are still without power this morning. Let's take a look here and see if we can get a good view on what we're looking at. This is the Madison area where we can see sporadic outages. Now, some of these outages are clusters that involve many homes. Same situation over in, okay, so this is, I can see Nesbitt Lane. All right, I see what we're doing here. Okay, bear with us. So Nesbitt Lane is where we still have many power outages. I also noticed a lot of outages still in Hendersonville. One of the reasons that, for example, Sumner County schools are closed today. No school in Sumner County, no school today in Clarksville, Montgomery County Public Schools either. We're monitoring those developments for you, and just as soon as we get word about any further school closings, we'll be sure to let you know.
Wind gusts ripping through Clarksville, up to 150-mile-per-hour winds, injuring more than 50 people and taking 3 lives.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
3 lives lost here in Madison after a tornado rips through the community. The damage left behind.
And taking a look right now, much calmer but also colder in the 20s. We're going to look at what we know so far about what we have found out about this tornado aftermath in the Weather Center.
Right now, steer clear traffic looking clear for your Monday morning commute. A bit of a sigh of relief for folks who have to get out and get back to school and get back to work this morning. But we keep an eye on it for you every few minutes, live through 9.
I want to say thank you for waking up with us here on a busy Fox 17 News Monday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell, monitoring the aftermath of the deadly tornadoes from over the weekend in southern Kentucky and middle Tennessee, and also the next steps that a lot of these communities are going to start to take.
Yeah, we're going to begin our team coverage right now with Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live from Clarksville. And Peyton, you have a closer look at the damage right behind you.
Erica, that's right. I'm standing right on West Creek Coyote Trail. I'm going to step out of the frame because I want you guys to see this. This complete devastation. I'm assuming these are apartment complexes because across the street there's actually an apartment complex unit as well. You can see the power lines. You guys might be able to hear the alarms going off, windows busted, roofs completely gone. I mean, power lines are down. I mean, we're safe out here. We're keeping an eye out, making sure nothing sparks up or anything. But 150 mile per hour winds ripped through Clarksville. Now we're told that this is an EF3 tornado that touched down here. That tornado, the span of it, the length of it, about a little bit close to about 50 miles long, 600 yards wide. That's about 5 football fields. And they're trying to, it's early right now. There's nobody out here besides some other news stations, police officers, but I'm sure within the coming hours, people are going to be out here cleaning up just like they were yesterday. We're going to keep you updated for now, live in Clarksville at West Coyote Creek Trail. Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red Station.
Peyton, thank you. Yeah, day 2 of a very busy cleanup process.
For sure. And we know that as we continue our coverage, 3 people died in Davidson County Saturday night, specifically in Madison. This is not too far from the Rivergate Mall area, and we have confirmed an EF2 tornado touchdown there right along Nesbitt Lane.
This is where we're going to find Fox 17 News reporter Amanda Chin. She has a Monday morning update. Amanda.
Good morning. As you guys mentioned, I am here on Nesbitt Lane in Madison, and we know that unfortunately 3 people died here on this street, including a 2-year-old boy. Now, Metro Police say a mobile home toppled on top of another home, and that's how those deaths unfortunately occurred. I want to step aside and show you what we're seeing right now. We obviously know that homes are leveled, still no power here. Debris on the ground. You see trees uprooted, street signs, branches, belongings from homes. And Jen was saying how yesterday the street wasn't passable, but you can see it's been cleared now, although there is still much debris to be picked up and lots of recovery ahead. We know that 21 others were also injured, and Nashville is still under a state of emergency. And as we mentioned, the National Weather Service confirmed this is an EF2 tornado that touched down here in Madison. And just to give you some perspective, the width of this tornado was more than 3 football fields. But for now, we'll keep you updated. Reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red Station.
Amanda, thank you. And so many folks are asking how they can help, or what areas need some more assistance. You can get more local reporting just like this delivered right to your inbox, and get that information by signing up for our Fox 17 News daily newsletter. It's right here on the homepage over on fox17.com.
So here we are at 4:35 in the morning. We just gave you a lot of information real quick when it comes to numbers and all kinds of things. I'm going to put them on the screen for you so you can know what happened. Montgomery County, EF3. Think back to the 2020 tornado that went through North Nashville, East Nashville, and then kept tracking. That was around the same strength, 150 mile per hour wind speed. I'm going to compare that to hurricane strengths coming up in the next check of the forecast. It's not good. The path length was about 11.28 miles for this, but that's only in the area that they've surveyed. This could get longer here because it did end up transferring and going into Kentucky. So here we are to start. The path width, though, like we just mentioned, about 6 football fields. So think about looking at Nissan Stadium when you're on your couch and you see the Titans playing on the field. 6 of those long went through someone's neighborhood. Multiple neighborhoods for 11 miles. Now, we talked about also the EF2 tornado that moved in. That has wind speeds of about 125 miles per hour that went through Davidson County and Sumner County. So this has been a very long time for us here the last couple of days, and just comes to figuring out what's going on. National Weather Service will be surveying again later today out in the Gallatin area.
Greg, thank you. 4:36 is the time. We're going to check in one more time this morning with your steer clear traffic updates. Of course, those continue until 9 a.m. though. This is a live look. Briley Parkway looking very good. This is the I-24 area. We have no slowdowns to tell you about, but do keep in mind that some areas, some schools are going to be closed because of power outages. So you might see a little less traffic out there, but right now this area looking very good.
We are live this morning in Hendersonville, where pieces of lives are left with nothing more than twisted pieces of metal. We're going to take you up close with some of the damage in Hendersonville.
Stay connected. Get
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, 4:39, and we continue our team coverage this morning as folks are trying to pick up the pieces and in many cases start all over, starting from scratch after all that devastation from Saturday night's tornadoes. We know that the tornado that hit Madison, which resulted in 3 people losing their lives, was an EF2. That tornado then moved into Hendersonville and also left a huge path of destruction.
Yeah, talking more about that destruction is Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland. Justin, you were holding up some debris in your hands. I'm assuming you're seeing a lot of that out there right behind you.
Oh, there is piles and piles of debris just like this. We're outside of the Big Play Entertainment Center here in Hendersonville. We've been showing you the back wall of this place blown out over the last couple of days, but now we're getting up close looks at the pieces of debris left over. And I don't know what this is or where this is from, but I promise you it didn't look like this when they installed it. This is not the way it was designed. And that's not the only thing. Look at this. Look at this. Large pieces of sheet metal. This is really heavy stuff. And the wind picked it up and tossed it like it was basically nothing, crumpled it up like a piece of paper and tossed it here to the side. And now you can see the leftover pieces of the business sitting out here, places that probably have never seen the light of day since construction of this place. I found this sitting back here a short time ago. This piece of a box here says transformer enclosure on it. You think something that says transformer enclosure is supposed to be sitting out like that on the sidewalk? The answer is no. And it's all over the sidewalk here in Hendersonville. Back you can see it's debris like this that has caused people to get out here and be very active as far as trying to get all of this up. The mayor has declared a state of emergency, but has promised that this community will rebuild and come together like he says, and I quote, they always do here in Hendersonville. Now, the good news here in Hendersonville is this. The power is coming back on Main Street here in Hendersonville. There were nothing, not a light bulb on this time yesterday. This morning, a lot of those traffic lights are back up and operating, which is great news. There's still thousands of people here without power, but that power is slowly getting back on and getting back to normal. We'll be here throughout the morning to show you whatever else we can find as this community tries to get back together. We're live for you this morning in Hendersonville. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And as the sun comes up, everyone who is out there for us this morning to give you this story on a Monday, it's just going to give you more and more of that visual of what happened over the weekend. Now the big weather story is, what is the aftermath? How do we recover? What do we do? What will the weather be like when people are out there trying to clear up and clean out and go get things out of their homes before the next rain moves in? Cold mornings. Justin had the coat, the hat. All of our crews have the winter coats on this morning. 20 is on the right side of your screen, but we'll be calm, we'll be clear. Our next chance for rain does not come until we go into the next upcoming weekend.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. And steer clear traffic right now. I want to take you down to I-65 at Harding Place. Good morning to all of our friends in Williamson County. Your morning commute is looking pretty good. I don't see any issues on your way into Nashville this morning, or heck, even if you are down that way and you need to get to Alabama, I-65 is all clear.
Just ahead, preparing for prime time, former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders joining us in studio to help us break down the Monday night matchup that's tonight against the Dolphins.
Alerts empowered.
Tennessee Titans in the primetime spotlight on Monday Night Football, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Here to help us break down the big primetime matchup, former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. And Chris, let's first start with the Dolphins offense, because there's always a lot of attention on those superstars. The receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, also 2 tough running backs. When it comes to trying to slow down that high-powered offense, what's the key for the Tennessee Titans?
It's going to be tough, and it goes to where you with Shane Bourne is going to have to come up with a defense to stop all these guys, but there's just so many explosive players on the team. You talked about Tyreek Hill, who has over 1,400 yards, and then you have Waddle, who's on the other side, that can also make explosive plays. But the one thing they have to do is make sure they win on third down. When I say win on third down, is you can't let them extend those drives, because they're going to kill you and make an explosive play.
looking at Tyreek Hill specifically,
Oh
the
my
fastest
gosh.
player in the NFL.
Hey. I got a little speed now.
Other than former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. But Chris, when you have one-on-one coverage with him, how do the DBs defend someone with such great speed like Hill?
You give him a lot of cushion. I mean, you can't get up and press this guy because you know why he has the nickname Cheetah. Because if you look at a cheetah, the cheetah is explosive and it can change directions. That's exactly what Tyreek Hill is he can change directions. He can get you off the spot. When I say get him off the spot, he can make you change your hips in different ways. So what they have to do is they got to come up and press him, but also have a safety over top to eliminate those explosive plays.
On the flip side, looking at the Dolphins' defense, 6th best defense in the league, and their pass rush tied for the 3rd most sacks in the league. And pass protection has been an issue for the Tennessee Titans offense this year with that offensive line and as much shuffling as they've had with those linemen up front. Chris, what's going to be the key for the Titans making sure that pass protection stands strong going up against that pass rush?
You know, it's going to be with Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator. Now, I know I said it on the defense side, but on the offense side, Tim Kelly's got to make sure he puts this offense line in position to be successful. And the way you can do that is go a 2 tight, a 1 back, a 2 tight to make sure you help those tackles. Because you better believe with Wilkins and Chubb, those guys are going to be coming off the edges. So they got to make sure they have the formations to stop that pass rush.
Will Levis, he's already played on Thursday Night Football, primetime spotlight against the Steelers. But let's be honest, Monday Night Football is a different beast. Chris, with the young rookie having played only so many games, how confident are you that he'll be able to handle the pressure of Monday Night Football going up against the top team in the AFC?
You know, I think he can because he's always played on the big stage. He played at the University of Kentucky, so he's used to the spotlight. And I think he's made for this because if you watch his body language, the one thing that he has is he's not afraid. When you have a quarterback that's not afraid, he's going to come out there and make some plays. It's a different beast when you're playing on Monday night because everybody's eyes are watching you. And I think he kind of likes that because he wants to go out there and show that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Talking to a lot of the players this week in the locker room, they emphasized how important it was coming off the Colts loss to stay positive, to keep each other up, pick each other up, and keep that energy higher in the locker room. Chris, the Titans mathematically are not eliminated from the playoffs, but this is a tough matchup on Monday Night Football, and their schedule does not get any easier. How can these players continue to motivate each other and stay positive in this difficult stretch of the season?
You know, you got 2 choices. You got a choice to get bitter or get better. Because if you get bitter, you're going to go out there and make mistakes and you're going to make it about you. But if you want to get better, even though mathematically you still have a chance to make it playoffs, go out there and give everything you got because, you know, you may not make the playoffs. Just go out there and do what you can do. And if you go out there and have an attitude of I'm going to do my part, make some plays. If it's catching the football, if it's blocking the tackle, if whatever it is, make the play and do what's good for the team, not for yourself.
Control what you can control, and also no X plays.
No
X plays. Slow down the cheetah on Monday Night Football. He's the former Titans wide receiver, Chris Sanders. Chris, as always,
appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
Another area that was hard hit on Saturday was Springfield, and we're taking a look at some of the video that Jennifer Waddell sent to us from the Legacy Golf Course in Springfield.
Yeah, we have been getting some interesting video. This is the shot from the Springfield Golf Course, and you can see the flashes of the transformers. Yes, transformers blowing, things catching fire. We know that, Springfield took a substantial hit from this tornado. Most of the damage is centered along Memorial Avenue in the heart of Springfield, where you would go to the Kroger.
There's so busy there.
Oh my gosh, such a busy part of town. So we just wanted to share this with you and let you know that coming up this morning in our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to interview Springfield City Manager.
Okay.
And we're going to hear from him to find out more about their next steps in the recovery process.
Yeah, so much to come in the hours here on Box 17 News. You do want to check in though with the forecast because as folks wake up, as they try to pick up the pieces, so to speak, they want the weather to cooperate.
Weather will cooperate when it comes to no rain, which is good. Because if you're still trying to get stuff out of a home that doesn't have a roof, you want to kind of get any personal belongings out before any potential rebuild starts. No rain, but we are cold.
I could not help but think about all those folks last night as we were going to bed and how cold it felt, and so many places that don't have anywhere, people that don't have places to go.
I know, I reached out to my friend in Hendersonville asking, she has a newborn baby.
Yes.
God, I get so sad thinking about it. And she was like, we don't have any power still. worried about all the things, and you just want to reach out to your friends and family.
Right, right. And we've seen a lot of folks say, hey, if you need a place to shower, a warm place to sleep, somewhere to come to our house.
Yeah.
Right, like people taking people in.
Yes.
Just to make sure that they're going to be okay.
And this is one of those situations that I always mention because I've covered far too many of these, and we all have, where maybe you haven't talked to that person in quite some time, but you know where they live and you know they were impacted. Give them a phone call.
Yeah.
Give them a place. Reestablish that connection, because this becomes a little bit less about the damage. The damage is still extensive. What we've talked about so much when it comes to just the personal side of this and the humanity behind just trying to help people get back and trying to move forward. Current power outages, here's how you read the map. Blues are about 10% of customers. And Erica and I were stressing this yesterday. A customer is not a single human being. It is a building. So 10% of buildings do not have power still. And then if you get up toward Montgomery County, we're still in about 20% of buildings that are in this area that do not have power. That could be a single family home, it could be an apartment complex, it could be a business that does not have power here. Waking up on a Monday morning, we're on the right side of your screen, we have temperatures in the 20s. This is the weather maker that moved in and gave us all of the severe weather. Looking to the west, this brown line is actually our best friend. It's called the dry line. What that means is all the air behind it is not going to give us anything when it comes to rain. Our next chance for showers and storms will not be until the weekend. But we are cold this morning. Can't stress that enough. You're going to have frost on windshields. You're going to have one of those starts where the heater might not even work in your car until you get to work, or it might not heat you up just enough. So get the winter coat and then have some sunshine in 40s later on this afternoon.
Greg, thank you so much. 4:52 is the time. Checking in on your Steer Clear traffic update for a live look near the airport. This is a typically very busy place, right, on a Monday morning especially. I-40 Donaldson Pike, though, looking pretty good. We don't have any slowdowns really for that exit. We'll continue monitoring that area by the airport, though, throughout 9 a.m.
Still to come, how you can help families so deeply impacted by these tornadoes across the mid-state.
Merry Christmas and happy.
Welcome back. 4:54 is the time. If you're looking to go ahead and volunteer your time to help with the cleanup efforts, some folks have been asking that here on Fox 17 News. We want to let you know there are several opportunities that are available, including the Mosaic Church that's over in Clarksville. They're asking volunteers to arrive at the church 8 o'clock this morning.
All right, we have county school buses because Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are out today and tomorrow at least. Those school buses that are not in use today will be taking people from the church to the designated cleanup locations. And, you know, Erica, as we've both covered tornadoes and disasters over the years, right, the coordinated efforts matter because what these folks don't want is an influx of people just coming into a neighborhood,
parking everywhere,
right, with no assigned job, right? So if you're in Clarksville, go to the church Erica mentioned. They'll have some shuttle buses taking you to and from where they need you the most.
So we're also covering shelters, right? We got some emails with updates this morning. So if you know someone who is in need of a shelter, Northeast High School over in Clarksville, we're showing you some information on your screen. Church of Christ, that's going to be at Trenton Crossing, and then Beach High School. Also, you said Cornerstone Church. They're opening their doors.
Yes, so Cornerstone Church is right around the corner from Nesbitt Lane, where we had 3 people die in Madison. And Cornerstone Church is going to be one of those shelters. They got power back on.
Great, because they canceled their service yesterday.
Yes, so they're going to be a shelter. That was just announced last night, along with the Madison Community Center just announced last night. And we have more.
Yeah, we do. The Dickson YMCA, the center in Springfield, they're going to be opening a shelter there as well. And we have all this information over at fox17.com. So if you're thinking, hey, I want the addresses, maybe the phone numbers to give them a call first, we do have that for you.
For those of you who might need foster care, Erica, we've got help for the pets.
Yeah, that's always helpful as well. If you need to have some foster care for your pet, go ahead and contact Foster Nashville. Okay, Foster Nashville for help. We're showing you the email address right there at the bottom of your screen for that information. And if you want some updates on shelter locations and hours for all of this, the pets too, again, visit fox17.com.
Time right now is 4:57, and Nashville is still in a state of emergency after the storm claimed 3 lives in Madison, as we've been documenting. Mayor Freddie O'Connell making the call shortly after those storms blew through.
We knew that damage was extensive enough that this was a likely disaster declaration scenario, and that is why we did the state of emergency, because we will be coordinating with FEMA and FEMA partners.
Yeah, he's continuing to give more updates. Those updates are expected throughout this morning. The declaration will make it easier, though, for those impacted by the storm to go ahead and get the help that they desperately need.
Well, we have at least 26 different deadly tornadoes that have hit the U.S. so far this year. And that's the most that we've seen in a single year since 2011, when more than 550 people died in more than 50 deadly tornadoes that year.
Wow, so this year tornadoes have killed 82 people, including a number of tornadoes on Saturday, which is above the average over the past 30 years. We do understand tornadoes have killed people in 12 different states. So we're taking a closer look at the numbers. 12 different states this year. Mississippi seeing the most deaths. They're number 24.
And that's followed by Tennessee, sadly. I mean, number 2 on the list of deaths as a result of tornadoes. We have had 16 so far this year, and that does include the 6 people who died here Saturday. So tracking the latest developments, both as it comes to the damage reports, the storm and tornado specifics, but also looking ahead right to a new work week.
Yes.
We've got Greg here to join us.
Yeah, we're very cold, but we're going to be sunny. There are some times where we have events like this where we get rain right after. And these are homes that had no roof. You've got walls that are missing, windows that are missing. Here's the best thing you can do. We're going to talk about this going into our 5 o'clock hour. Many folks are saying, I didn't hear the sirens go off till it was too late. First of all, sirens, we're going to talk about why you might not have heard them. But this is the best way. You can be alerted straight to your phone for your specific county for any severe weather. I mention it every morning. Download the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. For any severe weather, it's going to alert you straight to your phone with lead time. What I mean by that is enough time for you to find your safe space in your home to have as much protection as you can. That's your best method to stay safe during storms.
Let's check on Steer Clear traffic because we are noticing a bit of a backup over by the airport now. We just mentioned at the top of our 4 o'clock hour really was not congested, but that has changed in the last few minutes. So live look I-40 at Donaldson Pike. Just a heads up, the headlights you see coming toward you, those are folks getting off of I-40 at 216A to go to Nashville International Airport. Reminder for you, if you ever are heading that direction, there are 2 exits. You can take 216B to jump off and avoid that little bit of a backup.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, tracking the aftermath of the weekend's deadly tornado outbreak, but also looking ahead to the recovery.
We also know at least 6 people were killed when storms with winds up to 140 miles per hour ripped through parts of Middle Tennessee.
And this is just the beginning of the information coming into the Weather Center. We have 2 confirmed tornadoes, but preliminarily, there could be up to 13 that we end up having surveyed by the end of this week.
And yeah, take a look at this. TDOT cameras capturing the moment that one of 13 possible tornadoes touched down over in Goodlettsville. This video, of course, from Saturday.
Yeah, and this morning, Fox 17 News is learning more about the destruction when it comes to Goodlettsville. I was looking at some pictures coming in from Parks and Rec, where the fields and the bleachers at Moss Wright Park in Goodlettsville took a direct hit. They're mangled and twisted. This is near Caldwell Lane, just off Caldwell Lane, and Long Hollow Pike in that area.
All right, we're going to get started, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here on a very busy morning on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m.
We're going to start our team coverage right now with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse. Peyton's joining us live from Clarksville with a very closer look at the damage there.
Erica, that's right. From where I just saw you about 30 minutes ago, we're only about a half of a mile from that area. And behind me, even more destruction. We're sitting on Henry Place Boulevard. I'm going to step out of the frame so that our photographer, Ryan Brooker, can zoom in and show you this was once a home. I was actually here yesterday, and I will say not much has changed when it comes to the amount of debris that we're seeing here. And we're only showing you this one corner just because it is the lighting is not the best out here right now. Brooker lit it up beautifully so that you all can see this. A EF3 tornado, 150 mile per hour winds hit this area. A massive tornado, about 600 yards. That's about 6 football fields. Just to put that into perspective, the width. Now the pathway, nearly 50 miles for this massive tornado. People here in this area, 3 people lost their lives, 53 injured. One of those who passed away was we learned a little boy who actually lives on this block, and we're going to get more into that later in the show. But for now, reporting live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you for that update. We continue our team coverage now as 3 people died in Madison Saturday night. This is just off Nesbitt Lane. It's where I was yesterday morning showing you the initial damage. And we have Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin joining us back there live this morning. Amanda, how have things changed there, if at all, since this time yesterday?
Good morning, Jen. As you mentioned, we are here on Nesbitt Lane, and I know that you were here yesterday morning, and you said that the road was pretty much blocked off. You couldn't get through, but you can see behind me that the road is clear up to a certain point. And as the sun rises, we'll definitely be able to see more. We know that several homes in this neighborhood have been leveled. We also know that unfortunately there were 3 deaths, including the death of a 2-year-old little boy. Metro Police tell us a mobile home toppled on top of another home, and that's how those deaths occurred. But I'll step aside a little bit and show you some of the damage that we are seeing here on the street. You can see debris on the ground, trees uprooted, street signs, branches, belongings from homes. You can see that people still have a lot of recovery to do. We'll probably see more people trying to come to their homes as the sun rises in a few hours. But you can see the damage to some of these homes, the branches here on the ground. We know that 21 others were injured. Now, Nashville is still under a state of emergency, and the National Weather Service does say that this was an EF2 tornado. And just to give you some perspective, the width of this tornado was the width of around 3 football fields. Just to give you some of that perspective, but we'll be live out here all morning giving you updates. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
So let's recap here. We just talked about the 2 areas that we know we have confirmed tornadoes, and we put a lot of numbers out there. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We're just waking up. I want to put them on the screen so you can see. We don't know the path length of the Davidson-Sumner County tornado just yet. They should have that confirmed later on today, and then we're going to be surveying more areas throughout today. Not we, the National Weather Service will be out there. But this was a tornado that had maximum wind speed of 125 miles per hour. Yeah, with a width of 400 yards. Now, I want to circle back to also what we were talking about in Clarksville, where Peyton was at. 150 mile per hour wind speed. If you compare that to a hurricane, that is Category 4 hurricane wind speed. Let that sink in. And when you've got 6 football fields worth of Category 4 wind speed that moves in within about 15, 20 seconds, and it lasts 11 miles in distance, that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right here. And if you don't have that warning to get to your safe spot, it moves in so quickly. It isn't like a hurricane where you watch it for days moving in your direction. These will fire up very quickly. Make sure you have ways to get alerted and already have a plan in place to find your safe space.
Greg, thank you so much. 506, checking in on your Steer Clear traffic update. How about this live look for you? I-65, this is Long Hollow Pike. You can see on your screen there is no incidents, no slowdowns to tell you about, but this is an area that typically does see more traffic as the morning commute gets started, but so far giving you the green light for this area.
In a word, things are just awful in Hendersonville. Coming up, we're going to tell you why one pastor is hopeful even after his church is destroyed.
Fox 17 News.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We have continuing coverage this morning on the aftermath of the weekend's deadly tornadoes, the cleanup efforts that are now underway, and that, the piece of this puzzle that is the what's next, right, for so many families.
Yeah, we now know it's the EF2 tornado that touched down over in Gallatin and just left behind a path of destruction. Our Fox 17 News reporter, traffic anchor Justin McFarland joining us live in Gallatin, showing us some of that damage there.
Yeah, good morning. We're in Hendersonville, just to be technical about it, right along Main Street here in Hendersonville. That is where we are watching some of this damage continue on. As a matter of fact, you can see some of it right here behind me. If you're looking at some of the furniture up front among the debris, you may say to yourself, boy, that looks like antique furniture there. It looks like pretty old furniture. That's because that's exactly what it is. It's antique furniture. This was an antique store on one part of the plaza, then a party supply store on another part of the plaza that has been completely torn apart by this EF2 storm that came flying through. The good news here in Hendersonville overnight is that the electricity is slowly getting back on. Now, at a press conference yesterday, NES, who does run the electricity here in Hendersonville, said that it could be days before the city would get all of its electricity back. Well, they have knocked out a big chunk of that overnight and gotten quite a few people, thousands of people, with their electricity back on here in the city of Hendersonville. When I was here yesterday driving through, every single red light, if you've ever gone through here in Hendersonville, can you imagine? Every single red light in Hendersonville was a four-way stop. Okay? That's a lot along Main Street, but that's the way it looked yesterday in Hendersonville. Thankfully, they've gotten those lights back on. Police are still present. They want to make sure people are not going inside of these businesses and taking whatever they can find. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to hear from some of the people who are trying to pick up the pieces, trying to move on, and why they are hopeful for the future. But the best thing going on this morning is the electricity is back up and going, at least for many parts of the city. We're live for you this morning. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Justin, thank you. 2 points wanting to add on to Justin's live report. He mentioned the four-way stop at every intersection where the stoplights are out. That is a huge problem. I was in Hendersonville last night and still saw people blowing through intersections that had no power, not even slowing down. You have to treat it as a four-way stop. The second thing, Greg, as we look at your preliminary storm reports here, with regards to power in Hendersonville, right? Some customers are on Cumberland Electric, and some customers are on NES. So if you are along Main Street, Gallatin, Pike, and South, chances are you're NES. A lot of folks in the northern part of Hendersonville are on Cumberland Electric. So
that's good to point out, because some folks are texting and messaging and posting saying, hey, why do you have power?
Yeah, is your power back on?
But I don't.
Right. So great news, though, as Justin said, that we're getting it back online.
Yeah, we're slowly going to be doing that. And it's going to take them a little bit. Taking a look here, this is the preliminary storm report. All those little red dots are areas where we had on the radar indications that there could be a tornado. Right now, we're thinking up to 13 may have touched ground. We only have the surveys done of 2. They'll be out there again later on today getting more information from other locations.
All right, Greg, thank you. By the way, the number right now from NES, 7,500 outages, approximately.
All right, we're taking a live look at I-40. This is 46th Avenue. You can see very clear right now. We have no slowdowns. This is very, very good, but we know it's going to change, right?
It will. It will. This is west of town, so looking good for all of our Bellevue commuters. Quick reminder, folks, we are following a crash on I-24 up in Pleasant View, getting reports from Smoky Bar News. 2 cars involved that are flipped over, and this does look to be like a deadly crash. We don't have a camera up there, but did want to warn you, if you're leaving Nashville heading to Clarksville, that's going to slow you down in Pleasant View.
3 lives lost here in Madison after a tornado tears through the community. The damage left behind.
This Christmas,
5:15 is the time this Monday morning. We are continuing our team coverage with Amanda Chen. She has the very latest information. She's been in Madison. That's where Jennifer Waddell was just yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the difference, Amanda, between this time yesterday morning and now. It looks like those crews have made some progress, at least in clearing Nesbitt Lane.
Yes, for sure, Jen, as you mentioned that you were here yesterday and you said that the road here was pretty much blocked off, but they have done some clearing and you can get up to a certain point. But as the sun rises, we'll definitely be able to see more, as we do know that several homes have been leveled. We also unfortunately know that 3 people lost their lives here in Madison on this street, including a little 2-year-old boy. And Metro Police tell us a mobile home toppled on top of another home, and that's how those those deaths occurred. But I'll step aside and show you what we are seeing right now in terms of damage. You can see some debris on the ground. You see some trees uprooted, street signs, branches belonging from homes all here. Clearly lots of recovery to still do as folks wake up this morning. You can just see the damage, and as the sun rises, like we said, we'll be able to see more of the damage, especially to these homes. Now we know that 21 others have been injured, and Nashville is still under a state of emergency. Now the National Weather Service has said that this is an EF2 tornado, and just to give you some perspective, the width of this tornado was around 3 football fields, just to give you some of that perspective. So again, the width of this tornado, more than 3 football fields. We are still determining the length. The National Weather Service will determine the length of that. And of course, we'll continue to give you live updates throughout the morning. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Amanda, thank you. Greg, you pointed out, if you're just now waking up with us, that our reporters have their jackets on, their gloves on. It's chilly outside, in the 20s in some places.
Yeah, we're going to start with that because the only weather story that we have this week is going to be temperature. You're going to have sunshine, sunglasses, sun glare trying to drive around. Don't be that person who doesn't have the visor and the shades on. We know that can be as dangerous as rain can be, but we're cold. We really are, and a lot of folks that don't have anything left from what happened may not even have a coat to wear today. So give people a place to go. Here's your temperature. It really is a cold start here. You add in a little bit of a breeze, and that goes even farther into making things worse. 28 degrees in Nashville, 29 in Dickson, 24 in Clarksville, 25 in Gallatin, 2 of the areas that were most hard hit. Keep that in mind. We're going to keep the 20s through about 9 o'clock this morning. We are cold. We have not spent much time on the 7-day forecast just because we're trying to get you through what happened over the weekend, but we have to look forward. It's a forecast for a reason. 49 later on. That'll be your afternoon high here on your Monday. 31 overnight tonight, 56 tomorrow. We have no code red days. Look Monday through Friday. I have 0 rain percentage chances, and temperatures do get a little better. However, the unfortunate part is not at night. Look at the blue boxes and the white temperatures. They're going to be in the 20s and 30s the entire week. The afternoons do get a little relief in the forecast when it comes to 50s to near 60 degrees. So the sunshine helps during the day, but the clear sky at night is going to make us cold every night for the upcoming week.
Greg, thank you. And to steer clear traffic right now, it's 5:19. We want to give you a live look from I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard in Madison. This is the interchange where you would find Cornerstone Church, which has now been set up as an emergency shelter. This is also the exit you would get off of to end up on Nesbitt Lane, where we had the deadly tornado hit there. It's also the interchange, I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard, where we have a major shutdown. Old Hickory Boulevard is closed as you head over towards Cedar Hill Park. You cannot pass through Old Hickory Boulevard still. When I drove through there yesterday, there were 2 massive steel power poles crossing Old Hickory Boulevard, and it looks like, according to TDOT this morning, that is still a problem. So a heads up, if you use that interchange at I-65 at Old Hickory, I know a lot of people who go to Good Pasture Christian School use that exit to get to school. You're going to have to find a good detour here for this Monday morning.
And as we continue our coverage of the deadly destruction of the tornadoes, we want you to let you know that in Clarksville, we now know 10-year-old Arlen Burnham was killed by an EF3 tornado. The National Weather Service confirming the approximate path of that tornado on Saturday. They say it was about 600 yards wide and was on the ground for more than 40 miles. So just think of that. Friends of the Burnham family, they have set up a GoFundMe to go ahead and benefit the family, and we're showing you his photo, and we're also taking you right there to the website. You can see on your screen that as of right now, that number is increasing. More than $83,000 has been donated. If you would like to read more about how you can support the Burnham family, how you can make a donation, we have this for you by going to fox17.com.
The Tennessee Titans family and so many others are mourning the death of all-time Titans great Frank Wycheck. He died over the weekend. He played 10 years in the NFL, most of his time with the Titans. Wycheck had 505 career receptions, 28 touchdowns. But the most notable play, if you've ever heard of the Music City Miracle, this was a Well, it was engineered in part by Frank Wycheck. He was a catalyst for that historic play. And after that playoff game against the Bills, the Titans would go on to the Super Bowl. They just barely lost to the Rams that year. Former teammate Chris Sanders sharing his memories of the tight end here with Fox 17 News.
Everybody knows the one about the Music City Miracle. But one of my most memorable things that I remember Frank Wycheck was, he's a great teammate, but we had this one game, we were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And first of all, Frank Wycheck thought he could dance, and he can't. So he catches a touchdown pass, and he tries to do the Macarena. When he does the Macarena, I grab him. I say, man, don't you ever do that again. He laughed at me. He said, I'm just giving him my all. So you have situations like that where he loves the game. He's a fierce fighter, but then he has the sense of urgency of saying, you know what, I love doing what I'm doing and smiling. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about Frank. And, I just miss how he was in the locker room. He was funny. He cracked jokes all the time. But most of all, I'm going to miss the man that he was.
Oh, lots of great memories there with Frank Wycheck. He went on to co-host a popular radio show right here in Nashville before calling it a career. We understand a preliminary report show he fell at his home in Chattanooga, hit his head, and then died there at his home. So young, at 52 years old. We want to say thank you so much for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News this morning. A live look from downtown Nashville now. It is cold, 28 degrees. Saying an extra prayer for all those folks who don't have power this morning, trying to stay warm. And as we're your live local news source through 9 a.m., also want to give you a quick reminder. For those of you who are using generators to power your homes right now, do not ever put your generator in your garage or in your home. Office of Emergency Management yesterday was talking with me saying that they found someone who had a generator operating inside their house, and they were able to step in and quickly get it out, saving lives. So a quick reminder for you, check on your neighbors and take care out there. We'll continue right after this.
We are busy tracking thousands of power outages across Middle Tennessee following the tornado outbreak this weekend. This morning, if you look on your screen, there are currently, want to check, about more than 7,000 NES customers still without power. And Jen, you were talking about how depending on where you live, you could have NES, you could have Cumberland Electric.
Yeah.
It really just depends. And some folks are asking, hey, why is my power not restored?
Right.
Meanwhile, my neighbors, maybe just down the street, they have power.
Great point. Great point. I mean, I think even about like Springfield, there are areas in Springfield that have a lot of tornado damage. We're going to be sharing some of the newest images coming in from Springfield this morning. If you're closer to Davidson County, you might be NES. If you're in the northern part of Springfield, you're probably Cumberland Electric. Same thing in Hendersonville.
Right, and I know that talking about Hendersonville, that's where Justin McFarland is, and he was saying if you have a transformer that was struck, that was destroyed, it's going to take even longer possibly.
Right, we had those substations that got hit, and that's why we had so many widespread long-standing power outages. So at least a little bit of good news this morning that we heard just moments ago from Justin. They are making progress and getting power restored to NES customers in Hendersonville, and that's just that'll be like the best Christmas gift this year. You think about it, right?
Oh yeah. We're continuing to get more videos and photos, so look at this on your screen right now. This video taken by one of our own Fox 17 News employees. Ooh, talking about transformers catching on fire.
Yeah.
It shows the minute that a tornado sparked a massive fireball. This happened Saturday. It was all taken over in Madison. That's where the video was recorded.
Yes, so thanks so much to Phil Dickson. Phil works with us here at Fox 17 News, and he was, I believe, out maybe on his patio.
Correct.
Whenever he saw this and had the wherewithal to shoot the video. First of all, Phil, glad you're okay and you're safe. This is not far from Nesbitt Lane, where we now know 3 people died, and just showing the power, right, of these storms, the intense electrical current that rolls through them.
And I'm just imagining being that close to that situation.
Wow.
And it's also a good reminder that today, as we wake up, as we start the cleanup process, that if you can safely send photos and videos, then do so. But always remember, safety is top of mind.
Absolutely.
And taking a look here at the map, we just showed you a more zoomed in area of where people are struggling for power. It is that northern tier of counties where most of our tornadoes came in. And I've got one more update that we've not really focused on a ton this morning to give you. Excuse me. Is that Montgomery County tornado, the path just in Montgomery County was 11 miles, but it also went up into Todd and Logan County and stayed on the ground. Its total path was 42 miles into southern Kentucky.
Greg, thank you. A very quick check of steer clear traffic. All in all this morning, not too bad. Remember, we have some secondaries that are still closed as a result of tornado damage. We also have reports of a deadly crash on I-24 in Pleasant View heading outbound from Nashville. Otherwise looking good. I-24 at Waldron Road. Your commute in this morning is smooth sailing. You're at the speed limit or better.
Why some people might not have known the tornado was on the ground here in Clarksville.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
3 lives lost here in Madison as a tornado rips through the community. The damage left behind.
And as of right now, 2 confirmed tornadoes were clear, but we're cold. Temperatures are in the 20s at the moment. And we're going to see how many more cold mornings we'll have to deal with in many of these devastated areas.
And the Monday morning commute is just getting started, so we're keeping you up to date on all of your steer clear traffic whereabouts.
Guys, tornado on the ground right in front of us. Right in front of us. Huge tornado on the ground.
Brand new video and sounds from the Clarksville tornado, an EF3 touching down in Montgomery County. You can see the size of that funnel as it rips through the area Saturday. Brand new video coming to us this morning from Caleb Beecham. He is a storm chaser with the Y'all Squad. Those are folks who chase storms, and not only that, but they go to communities then that are hardest hit and they set up recovery efforts for the victims of those storms. So we will be sharing more of that new this morning.
That video will make you stop in your tracks.
Gives me goosebumps.
We want to start by bringing you team coverage this morning, tracking the damage left behind by Saturday's catastrophic tornado outbreak.
Yeah, we had 2 tornadoes that are now confirmed by the National Weather Service. One of the worst areas hit being Clarksville.
We're going to begin our team coverage right now with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse. Peyton is joining us live from, I believe, Clarksville this Monday morning, taking a much closer look at the damage and what's left as we start to pick up all the pieces there.
Jen, that's right. Now, so here in Clarksville, that video that you all just played a second ago, multiple people on this block, besides that storm chaser, told me that they did not hear the sirens go off. Now, Governor Bill Lee was asked about this yesterday. His response that the state will look into this, but he didn't hear anything about people not hearing those sirens. I want you guys to hear that video again. So if we can go ahead and take that just one more time.
Tornado on the ground right in front of us. Clarksville, you guys need to be in your shelter. Huge power flashes. Huge power flashes. There's no sirens yet, guys. No sirens. Big tornado on the ground.
So just as you heard right there, that storm chaser said that there is no sirens yet. It's a big tornado, and I know our meteorologist Greg Bobos is going to go a little bit more into detail as to kind of what this could mean. But what he was, as Greg was telling me earlier, no government official, NWS, they're not in charge of this, in charge of the sirens. That's up to local authorities, and that's what we know so far here in Clarksville. I know I'm hoping we're going to go take it to Greg right now so he can go into a little bit more detail on these sirens and kind of what exactly this means. For now, live in Clarksville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
We will chat with Greg about the sirens here momentarily. Right now, we want to continue our team coverage live on the ground in Madison, where we know that 3 people died along Nesbitt Lane. Now, just to give you a little bit of perspective, this is where we were live yesterday morning. Nesbitt is a residential area. It's a street that connects Graycroft and Gallatin Pike. This is just east of I-65 and right around the corner from Cornerstone Church.
An area that is now open as a shelter this morning. That's where we find Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin. Amanda, are you seeing any folks out there this morning trying to go ahead and get an early start perhaps with cleaning up?
It's been pretty dark. The power is still out. Hopefully people start to come out here as the sun rises. We just have a few other news crews around us right now. But Jen, as you mentioned, you were here yesterday morning and you said that the road pretty much behind me was blocked off with debris. You can see behind me this morning, there's a little bit more of a clear path, although it does stop at some point. But as we mentioned, as it gets later out, we'll be able to see more of the damage, as we do know that several homes were leveled and unfortunately 3 people people lost their lives here on this street, including a little 2-year-old boy. And Metro Police say a mobile home toppled on top of another home, and that's how those deaths occur. But I'll step aside and show you some of the damage that we're seeing right now. You can see debris on the ground, trees uprooted with street signs, branches, belongings from homes. You'll be able to see in a little bit some of the damage to these homes as folks wake up, and you can see there's still a lot of cleanup efforts that will need to be made, and 21 others have been injured, and Nashville is still under a state of emergency. But we do know there was an EF2 tornado, and the width of this tornado, more than 3 football fields. That's the width of the tornado. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Here we are, 5:35, coming back to what we were just talking about when it comes to sirens. It's important to know just a couple things. That not every county has them. Not every part of every county has them throughout the entire county. Now, each county and each municipality really has their own ability to fire off these sirens based upon their own criteria. They're not supposed to be used if you're inside. If your way to get a warning is just hearing a siren when you're indoors, you likely won't even hear it if it goes off. Just keep that in mind. We don't control these sirens. Get the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. That will help you get the alert to your phone in your hand when you're in your home.
5:36 is the time right now. Checking in on those steer clear traffic updates. We're going to take 2 looks here. The first one being I-65 at Trinity Lane. I can see the traffic is picking up slowly but surely. This area, no slowdowns, no crashes. Real quick, I-65 over at Harding Place. No slowdowns here as well.
At 5:36, Fox 17 News This Morning continues.
Welcome back. 5:39 is the time, and we are continuing our team coverage on Fox 17 News This Morning of the damage left behind after Saturday's devastating tornadoes.
Yes, and one of the places hit particularly hard is Hendersonville, where we know the EF2 tornado that hit Madison, resulting in 3 lives lost, then moved out toward Hendersonville and Gallatin. And so that's where we find Fox 17 News. Justin McFarland. Justin is in Hendersonville this morning. Justin, just having been through there myself over the weekend, last night, there was still a lot of power outages along Indian Lake Boulevard, where the big shopping centers are. There's like a Sam's Club and a Walmart. And then I know a lot more of the damage is then focused along Gallatin Pike, also known as Main Street. So tell us where you are and what you're seeing behind you right now.
Well, Jen, we're right along Main Street is where we have focused a lot of our attention, and with good reason, as crews have been here. And there is progress being made, but still a lot of work to do. And I want to show you some of that progress. You see some of the windows here have been boarded up along the Movement Church, the Lotus Lux Beauty right next door. You can see a lot of their cleanup has already begun here on the outside of the plaza. However, it is not the same way when you go to other parts of the plaza. Right down here, you can see right inside of the Medic 65 or I-65 right here behind me here. You can see the fixtures still hanging from inside, still dangling down, and you can see the entire inside of this building has been gutted when the strong winds from this storm came flying through, and it has left debris just scattered everywhere. A large part of this plaza still does not have power, and it has left just debris hanging around for crews to come clear up. Now, one of the places here we showed you was the Movement Church. We spoke with their pastor just yesterday. Coming up, we're going to hear from him and talking about the plans to rebuild and why he broke down in tears as soon as he came and saw the status of his church. The good news here in Hendersonville, if there is any, and that is the power is starting to return. Main Street was in the dark this time yesterday. This morning, most of the traffic lights are back up and operating. That is good news for anyone trying to get around here in Hendersonville. Reporting live for you this morning, I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And just some more details about that specific tornado that moved through. That's one of the only 2 that they have surveyed here, and they're going to continue the track of this that goes through the Gallatin area later on today. EF2, 125 mile per hour wind speed, 4 football fields in length as it moved through. Just the width of the actual tornado was that big. So if you're watching a high school football game or a Titans game, just look at the football field or think about it in your head. And think about 4 of those attached together moving through a neighborhood with that kind of wind speed. That's what we're dealing with. Clarksville was even worse at an EF3 with wind speeds that were close to hurricane strength of a Category 4. We'll keep breaking this down for you. And I'm talking to the Weather Service here and making sure that if we see anything that moves in when it comes to any updates throughout the morning of specific areas they're going to be for, surveys will let you know. But in the meantime, we're waking up, and once the sun comes up, you're going to see some very disturbing images when it comes to all the damage that we have to recover from.
Yeah, it's tough, Greg. Thank you so much. 542, quick look at traffic here. I-65 Trinity Lane. You can see on your screen there are no crashes to tell you about, no slowdowns. This area looks very good. Again, I-65 at Trinity Lane.
Well, they're getting ready for prime time. We're going to switch gears and talk about a big matchup for our Titans tonight. Monday Night Football. Chris Sanders joining us here to break down what we're expecting getting into tonight's matchup.
If you've been hurt in a car.
Tennessee Titans in the primetime spotlight on Monday Night Football, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Here to help us break down the big primetime matchup, former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. And Chris, let's first start with the Dolphins offense, because there's always a lot of attention on those superstars. The receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, also two tough running backs. When it comes to trying to slow down that high-powered offense, what's the key for the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, it's going to be tough, and it goes to where you with Shane Bourne is going to have to come up with a defense to stop all these guys, but there's just so many explosive players on the team. You talked about Tyreek Hill, who has over 1,400 yards, and then you have Waddle, who's on the other side, that can also make explosive plays. But the one thing they have to do is make sure they win on third down. When I say win on third down, is you can't let them extend those drives, because they're going to kill you and make an explosive play.
Looking at Tyreek Hill specifically, the fastest player in the NFL.
Hey! I got a little speed now.
Other than former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. But Chris, when you have one-on-one coverage with him, how do the DBs defend someone with such great speed like Hill?
You give him a lot of cushion. I mean, you can't get up and press this guy, because you know why he has the nickname Cheetah. Because if you look at a cheetah, the cheetah is explosive and it can change directions. That's exactly what Tyreek Hill is he can change directions. He can get you off the spot. When I say get him off the spot, he can make you change your hips in different ways. So what they have to do is they got to come up and press him, but also have a safety over top to eliminate those explosive plays.
On the flip side, looking at the Dolphins' defense, sixth best defense in the league, and their pass rush tied for the third most sacks in the league. And pass protection has been an issue for the Tennessee Titans offense this year, with that offensive line and as much shuffling as they've had with those linemen up front. Chris, what's going to be the key for the Titans making sure that pass protection stands strong going up against that pass rush?
You know, it's going to be with Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator. Now, I know I said it on the defense side, but on the offense side, Tim Kelly's got to make sure he puts this offense line in position to be successful. And the way you can do that is go a two tight, a one back, a two tight, to make sure you help those tackles. Because you better believe with Wilkins and Chubb, those guys are going to be coming off the edges, so they got to make sure they have the formations to stop that pass rush.
Will Levis, he's already played on Thursday Night Football, primetime spotlight against the Steelers. But let's be honest, Monday Night Football is a different beast. Chris, with the young rookie having played only so many games, how confident are you that he'll be able to handle the pressure of Monday Night Football going up against the top team in the AFC?
You know, I think he can, because he's always played on the big stage. He played at the University of Kentucky, so he's used to the spotlight. And I think he's made for this, because if you watch his body language, the one thing that he has is he's not afraid. When you have a quarterback that's not afraid, he's going to come out there and make some plays. It's a different beast when you're playing on Monday night, because everybody's eyes are watching you. And I think he kind of likes that, because he wants to go out there and show that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Talking to a lot of the players this week in the locker room, they emphasized how important it was coming off the Colts loss to stay positive, to keep each other up, pick each other up, and keep that energy higher in the locker room. Chris, the Titans mathematically are not eliminated from the playoffs, but this is a tough matchup on Monday Night Football, and their schedule does not get any easier. How can these players continue to motivate each other and stay positive in this difficult stretch of the season?
You know, you got two choices. You got a choice to get bitter or get better. Because if you get bitter, you're going to go out there and make mistakes and you're going to make it about you. But if you want to get better, even though mathematically you still have a chance to make it playoffs, go out there and give everything you got, because, you know, you may not make the playoffs. Just go out there and do what you can do. And if you go out there and have an attitude of, I'm going to do my part, make some plays. If it's catching the football, if it's blocking the tackle, if whatever it is, make the play and do what's good for the team, not for yourself.
Control what you can control,
Yep.
and also no X plays.
No
X plays. Slow down the cheetah
Man, they got
on
some
Monday
dogs.
Night Football. He's the former Titans wide receiver, Chris Sanders. Chris, as always,
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
It's always great to hear from Chris Sanders there, but the temperatures in Miami are going to be a whole lot warmer than right now. 20s here.
Yeah.
If they had 20s in Miami right now, you know what would be happening.
The iguanas would be falling from the trees.
Falling off of trees. You know
It's a
exactly
real
what I was
thing.
going to say. It would be really rough. Much better down there for them.
Yep.
Rain has been pulling away from the Florida area too, so it shouldn't really be a big deal when it comes to weather. So this is one of those games where team to team.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Let's talk a little more about what has happened and where we're going moving forward. We're going to continue with surveys. The Weather Service will be out there again today. Gallatin's the first place we know about. We'll continue the track of that EF2 tornado that moved through the Madison area, and then we'll probably find out other locations here once everyone is up and getting moving and they kind of assess where they should go next. Weather story is the aftermath. Cold mornings. You get out the door, yeah, we are in the 20s. And we're going to keep that going, 20s and low 30s this morning, tomorrow morning, and the next several mornings. We're calm and sunny every day, though, not just of the first couple of days of the week, but the entire week. Monday through Friday, partly cloudy to mostly sunny. Highs will get warmer, but today only at 49 degrees. 50s start tomorrow, and that will continue in the middle 50s as we get ourselves in toward the upcoming weekend.
All right, Greg, thank you. Steer clear of traffic. Let's see how things are flowing right now as we approach 6 o'clock. This is I-65 at Harding Place down in Brentwood. Looking pretty good for your commute this morning coming in from Williamson County. Don't see any crashes on the way in. In the heart of Nashville, also looking okay. I do want to remind you, we have secondary closures. One of those closures is Old Hickory Boulevard at I-65. You cannot get through there by Cedar Hill Park. That's going to impact you if you're trying to get to Good Pasture Christian School, which we understand they do have school today. Also, we've learned about a deadly crash on I-24 in Pleasant View this morning. That's outbound. So steer clear of that and keep it here. More traffic updates in minutes.
If you're wondering how you can get involved and help out with tornado cleanup efforts across the mid-state, we'll have that answer for you just after the break.
Lowe's knows you need to save money.
Good morning. 5:54 is the time. Before the break, we talked about those who are looking for some volunteer opportunities when it comes to cleanup efforts that are very much ongoing. There are several opportunities that we want to let you know about, including Mosaic Church over in Clarksville. They're asking for volunteers to go ahead and arrive at the church 8 o'clock this morning. And to make that happen, the county school buses, because they're not having school today because of power outages, the county school buses are going to take volunteers from the church to designated cleanup locations. And if you know someone who is in need of shelters, well, take a look at your screen, because Northeast High School over in Clarksville, that's an option. Church of Christ, that's over at Trenton Crossing, that's another option for you. Beach High School, and then Cornerstone Church in Madison, or Cornerstone Church, yeah, it's over in Madison.
Yeah.
And the community center there, they're trying to open their doors for shelters.
Right. Let's take a look here, because we know that many of you in Dickson are impacted from those storms that came through. The Dickson YMCA is open as a shelter, along with the center in Springfield. Now, I will say this. Some of these shelters are going to be on an as-needed basis. So many of our local leaders have said if no one shows up by a certain time of night, they will close it and then open it again as necessary. So, you know, if you're someone who needs a place to go, we've got the full list for you at fox17.com. And a reminder, we know a lot of you have pets, right? And some of these shelters won't take pets. So if you need a foster family for your fur baby, you can contact Paw Stir Nashville for help. Paw, as in, you know,
we get it.
Animal Paw, and then STIR, Paw Stir Nashville. We've got the email right here at the bottom of your screen.
If you want some more details on shelter hours and locations, maybe you want to share it with a friend, someone in need, you can do so by visiting the website that's on your screen right now. Okay, this has the very latest updates. It's fox17.com.
Just a few minutes before 6 o'clock now, and the city of Nashville is still in a state of emergency after the tornado came through Madison, specifically claiming 3 lives. And Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell making that call for a state of emergency shortly after that storm passed through.
We knew that damage was extensive enough that this was a likely disaster declaration scenario, and that is why we did the state of emergency, because we will be coordinating with TEMA and FEMA partners.
So if you're wondering what the declaration does, why do it in the first place? The declaration is hopefully going to make it easier for those impacted by the storm to get the resources that they desperately need.
Yeah, one of those resources would be loans, right, to rebuild. So definitely monitoring that for you. And we know, as we have tracked our storms here, when we look at the big picture in the U.S. so far for 2023, we have had 26 different deadly tornadoes over the span of this year. And when we take a closer look here, we know that's the highest number of tornadoes that we've seen in a single year since 2011. When more than 550 people died in more than 50 deadly tornadoes that year.
So diving closer into the number, we know this year tornadoes have killed 82 people, including a number of tornadoes, of course, Saturday, which is above the average over the past 30 years. That was 71. That was the average. Tornadoes have killed people in 12 different states this year alone, with Mississippi seeing the most deaths, that number 24. That is, of course, followed by then Tennessee, which our number is 16. That does include the 6 from Saturday.
Yeah. Greg, as we get ready to get an update from you in the weather department, we also have some encouraging news this morning, and we're sharing every little bit of positivity we can find. Nashville Electric Service has now got about 1,000 more people back online.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That really
It
is good
sure
news.
is. So about 6,400 customers now still without power, but making progress.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare it to the 24,000, 25,000 plus that were out 2 nights ago, that's really good progress here. Taking a look at what you can do. We've been talking about sirens not firing, you not hearing them, all kinds of things. I stress every day, and it's not just for my own leisure, just to plug something. Get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app, because that will go off on your phone for severe weather right to your county, your specific county. It'll give you the exact warning and the timing, and you can find your safe place well before the event gets to where you are at. We are cold, so the more power outages that we can have resolved, the better we're going to be. The more people we can have with heat, the better we're going to be. 20s and 30s, the next 5 to 7 mornings ahead of us.
It is just about 6 o'clock, so we do want to check in for a steer clear traffic update, help you get out the door, hopefully save you some time. I-40, the I-65 West Loop, take a look on your screen. It looks really good as of right now. No slowdowns, no crashes. If you're heading out in this area as of right now, you have the green light. Hey, stay with us. A new hour. All of our team coverage starts now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, we are tracking the latest developments after the weekend tornadoes. Where do things stand with regards to damage? Specifics on the tornadoes, the number of people who have been killed, and the recovery and the rebuilding process that begins now.
Thankfully, a calm weather pattern for that beginning of the rebuilding process. We'll see how long we stay cold and sunny before the next chance for rain moves in.
And so many folks are heading out the door for their Monday morning commute, and they're trying to get to some of those areas impacted to help with the cleanup process. We'll have your steer clear traffic updates to hopefully save you some time.
All right, we've got you covered as your live local news source through 9 a.m. and we want to share with you video coming to us from a TDOT camera showing the moment that one of the likely 13 tornadoes touched down in the Goodlettsville area Saturday.
Every time I see this video, I'm just in shock. I mean, this morning we're learning so much more about the massive destruction those storms left behind and the hundreds of thousands of people who initially didn't have power. We have some good news updates, though, when it comes to that.
That's right. So we've got you covered here. Glad to be here as part of your morning routine. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We're bringing you the very latest with our team coverage this morning as we track the damage across the mid-state.
That's right. And we do want to begin this morning in one of the hardest hit areas. That's Clarksville in Montgomery County, where we've confirmed an EF3 tornado touched down. What does that mean? When we give tornado scale numbers like that, an EF3 means that we had wind speeds of up to 140 miles per hour.
Goodness, and the tornado path we now know was nearly 50 miles long. So we're going to go ahead and get our Team coverage started with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse, joining us live from Clarksville with a closer look at the damage.
Erica and Jen, I'm at Henry Place Boulevard, and Bandera Drive. Behind me is the damage that we're seeing on the block here. I'm going to step out of the frame because I want you guys to take a look at this. Now, this is just one house. So many homes down this entire block completely destroyed, some of them even down to the foundation. Here you can see the rubble. It's hard to pick out anything right now as to what exactly is in there. I feel like maybe not too far from here, I see something that might look like a toilet. Obviously, these winds, very strong, very powerful. I know they were up to 140, 150 mile per hour winds for an EF3 tornado. Another thing that we did learn about the tornado, it was about 600 yards wide, which is about 6 football fields. The pathway, nearly 50 miles long. On this block where I am at right now, 3 people died. We know 2 adults, 1 child. Child is a 10-year-old little boy. I spoke with actually a lot of the people that live in this area who told me a little bit about him. Very energetic little boy. I actually spoke with a neighbor who her children are friends with the little boy. It's a tough time for this entire community right now, but I will say yesterday when I was here earlier, everybody came together. Chick-fil-A was even out here passing out sandwiches on their day off. Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. I think most of you probably know that, but it is starting to get lighter out here, so we're hoping we're able to show you guys a little bit more in the coming next half hour. Reporting live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, I know that you have spent, and you mentioned this, a lot of time in Clarksville. If you had to describe the overall spirit there right now, how would you do that?
Well, Jen, at this very moment, I would say it's quiet here. There's not a lot of people out here, obviously other news stations and things like that. And there's, for me personally, I could speak a little bit on that, since there's not very many people. It's a different atmosphere right now. I think it's cold. You can see even more, even coming down here, I saw more damage than what I did a few days ago. And just looking around, knowing the things that people went through and experienced here, from a lot of the people I talked to yesterday, very emotional. I actually spoke with a neighbor who lived next to the little boy. Her husband was holding onto a toilet just to make it through. Another family, they told me that they usually, when they get these alerts, because it's happened before, they don't usually take them seriously. But the alerts meaning the ones that are on the phone.
Yeah.
So the atmosphere right now, it's definitely different, but we'll see. Hopefully when it gets lighter, we'll see more people out here.
Yeah, it's tough. Peyton and I, we were talking about, the spirit of people who were able to, make it through the storm, and that resilience, right? That spirit of togetherness and determination to rebuild and to help others too. And I think that is one of those spirits that you have to hold on to in times like these.
Oh, you do. And I always call it the Tennessee way.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do.
Yeah. All right, we want to share with you now some brand new pictures coming into the Fox 17 newsroom. These are just in this morning. Another hard-hit area is Springfield. This is in Robertson County, and these are pictures from Dot Road Photography. They tagged me on Facebook and wanted us to share. I'm going to walk you through what we're seeing here. This giant brick building is the Kroger on Memorial Boulevard. Everything else nearby, gas stations, there's a Kroger fuel station, there is a cell phone store, there's a Jet's Pizza. You can see mangled messes, cars thrown through the parking lot. There's a Valvoline oil change center. This right here, this building has a little Springfield mural on it. There's a Holman's jewelry store that is decimated. And so many of, yes, there's a Kroger, right, and some of the big name stores, but a lot of these businesses are small and locally owned. And I was hearing from some people in Springfield, the owner of the jewelry store right there was trapped in the building. and managed to survive.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we're going to be sharing more of the stories from Springfield this morning. In fact, coming up at 7 o'clock, Greg, we're going to talk to Springfield City Manager and take a look at where things stand here this morning.
Yeah, we really only focused on a couple areas because there are so many places that are going through all this at once that we can't get to all of them the exact same day. But we're going to have crews everywhere throughout the week showing you people's stories, talking to them, and just giving you all the information. The Clarksville area, Montgomery County tornado was an EF3 with wind speed of 150 miles per hour. That is the equivalent of a Category 4 hurricane. Now in Tennessee, it was on the ground for 11 miles. It kept going into portions of Kentucky, Logan and Todd counties for another 31 miles. That's what we're dealing with here as we have the aftermath for you on this Monday morning.
6:07 is the time, and we're going to check in with your Steer Clear traffic updates. Hopefully get you out the doors safely. That's our plan. I-40 Donaldson Pike, this area, look at the screen. Oh, it looks really good. That's going to change in a couple of hours. We're here with your traffic updates up until 9 a.m.
We are live this morning at Hendersonville. This is where heavy pieces of debris went flying when that storm came through. We're going to tell you about one piece of equipment in particular that just missed ending someone's life.
The Good Feed Store.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 6:10, and as we continue our coverage of the deadly tornadoes from the weekend, we know that an EF2 hit Hendersonville. We were talking about the EF3 in Clarksville and what that means, right? EF3, about 140 mile an hour winds. For Hendersonville at an EF2, we're looking at around 125 mile per hour winds.
And Henderson is where our Fox 17 News reporter Justin McFarland is joining us live. And Justin, you said before the break, something barely missed someone, and ultimately their life was saved because of that.
Yeah, good morning. Now, we want to show you a piece of equipment here that is somewhere it is clearly not supposed to be, and if it had hit someone, that person's life would have been over. We're talking about this bad boy right back here. This is an HVAC unit, one of these HVAC units that belong on the ceiling of this particular business that provided heating and air for entire shopping centers here. These are the type of units that you need a crane just to get this thing up onto the roof of the building. It's split into two. This is the top half of it here. Here's the bottom half of it up here. These things weigh thousands and thousands of pounds, and they came flying down off the roof of this particular building and smack dab up against the rail, which was embedded in concrete now. It was embedded in concrete, and then look at what it did. It ripped it right off of that particular base here in Hendersonville. This is just a sample of the kind of damage that is here. Not too far away, there is a local church where one pastor says when he showed up, him and his family became very emotional once they saw the damage that was done.
We lost a lot as far as stuff last night, but I mean, when you look around at these people, these are just people who love Jesus, and our focus right now would be loving each other, caring for each other, celebrating the birth of Jesus still, and choosing to have joy. And then we'll get together as a community, and we're mourning the past but looking forward to the future.
That's about all you can do. You see the kind of damage that is done here in Hendersonville. I wanted to show you one other thing, and that is we've been talking a lot about electricity, and rightfully so, but there is also natural gas to think about. You can see the gas meters sitting here on the side of the building, and then at the end of these gas pipings, you'll see, well, they kind of run into nothing. It's been ripped out of here. So the gas company says they are very aware that when the gas lines are turned back on, they could get some calls about burning smells, because situations like this will need to be come out and assessed before not just electricity but gas can be returned to some of the buildings here in Hendersonville. The recovery process is still an ongoing thing and will be for the next several months, if not years. We're live for you this morning in Sumner County. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your co-ed station.
Now the big weather story becomes all of the aftermath, the cleanup, and we're going to talk about tornado sirens and why some folks didn't hear them and what that means and other ways to stay safe coming up in the next Check Your Forecast.
At 6:13, we're also taking another live look out there to see what's happening on the highways. I-65, this is Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, looking very good right now. You have no crashes to worry about. Stay with us. So much more team coverage after the break.
Attention homeowners.
Welcome back. 6:15 is the time here on a Monday morning where we are continuing our team coverage. Our Amanda Chin, she is out in Madison with the latest updates. I know the sun is just starting to peak up, so folks are getting out there trying to see what's there to clean up.
Yeah, Amanda, thanks for joining us out there live this morning. I know you've been busy working your way around there. You're on Nesbitt Lane, and this is the area where we had 3 lives lost, a woman and her little boy, and then another man. Give us the details that you've learned about that scenario and how that happened.
Yes, Jen, as you mentioned, unfortunately, 3 people died here on this street, and Metro Police tell us that a mobile home toppled on top of another home. So the gentleman who died, his home toppled on the other woman's home, and that's where, unfortunately, that woman in her 30s and her 2-year-old son passed away.
All right, Amanda, we're noticing behind you the sun is just coming up. What kind of progress has been made that you can see this morning as far as clearing all those snapped power poles? I mean, yesterday I couldn't believe how the power lines were just snapped
Mangled.
and then twisted, and lines wrapped around things, trees down. What kind of progress have you seen in that cleanup there?
Well, I think it's definitely gotten better than when you were here yesterday. There is some clearing of the roads, but we can actually only go up to a certain point. So just above, you see there's something hanging from the power lines over there, and those trees down there, just past that van, that's where the road still stops. We cannot get past that area, and that's where we believe the mobile home community is. So we can get through this area right here, and you can see there's still debris, branches down, homes, so there's still lots of cleanup that folks are going to have to be doing when they wake up this morning.
Okay, Amanda, thank you so much. And to your point, Jen, you were there yesterday in the same area where Amanda was, and you were saying, hey, if you don't have to be in this area, then don't come out here because you're not going to be helping with the cleanup process and trying to get power restored and all of that.
Right, you just get in the way
Yes.
of the people who have important work to do. So unless you live there or you are a first responder with official business there, don't go into these neighborhoods gawking and taking pictures.
And I have to wonder if that's why they're saying, hey, we're not going to let people get any closer to what's going on back here.
Launching drones and doing that kind of a thing. Just,
Your
give these
Instagram
people
doesn't
room.
need to show people's damage.
Right, give these people space.
Let them have their time to get their belongings, to try to collect their lives. And if you do want to actually help out and get down there, organizations are setting up things as we speak.
Yeah, Cornerstone Church we mentioned.
We have all the updates over on fox17.com. That way you can find the hours, the transportation,
what they
and the
need.
location. There you go.
Yeah, the coordinated efforts are always the ones that go the farthest because they're really put together, they're really well done, and then they get in and they really help quickly. So that's the way to go if you want to do it. As far as everything goes moving forward long term, we've heard reports of people not hearing sirens. We've talked about that. Now, not every county has a siren. Not every city in every county has a siren. They're made for outdoor use, excuse me. So say you're outdoors and a storm rolls in and you don't have access to a cell phone or whatever, that's when the siren is your best friend. But we don't control them. They're fired off by the local counties and local governments. So keep that in mind. And I would just say, get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. It'll be your best thing because when this kind of a thing rolls in, an EF3 tornado, and it is on the ground for 40 miles, and you have no way to get an alert, that is a very scary and dangerous thing. This was 6 football fields wide when it moved across a 40-mile path. It was 11 miles in Tennessee, and then 30 miles through portions of Kentucky. And this is the one right here where you see all of the storm reports that we had that moved in. Now, we have gotten a little bit of a survey done here, Madison and Hendersonville. That same tornado went into the Gallatin area. The National Weather Service is going to be there today to continue that path length to see how long it was on the ground. And then they're going to pick other locations here later today and also throughout the week to survey when it comes to those preliminary storm reports becoming confirmed storm reports.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Steer clear traffic right now. We're going to give you a live look at one location and then details about some others. This is I-40 at Donaldson Pike by the airport. No problems here. We actually have no crashes in the heart of Nashville. One deadly crash, I-24 in Pleasant View, heading outbound. One person has died after 2 cars flipped there. Also, it is worth reminding you, for those of you who have to get up this morning and travel in the Clarksville, Madison, Hendersonville areas, we have a lot of side streets that are still closed, including Old Hickory Boulevard, right in front of Cedar Hill Park. If you use I-65 at OHB, it's shut down in front of Cedar Hill Park. A portion of Gallatin Pike in Madison near Nesbitt Lane, also still shut down. And if you're in Hendersonville and you're trying to get through New Shackle Island Road and Main Street, there is emergency work happening there, along with Indian Lake Boulevard, also at Gallatin Pike. So we'll monitor those developments for you. Just a reminder, take it easy out there here on your Monday.
We also want to thank you for waking up with us here every morning on Fox 17 News, your only local news station. That's us, with your traffic and weather updates live from 4 all the way up until 9. You can see weather updates, of course, on the right side of your screen, even during commercial breaks. We're so happy to be up and with you.
I'm Michael Ponce of Ponce.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We do have some encouraging news on the power outage front. We have about 1,000 customers that have now been brought back online. These are NES customers. That's happened within about the last 30 minutes or so. So many of the power outages in the mid-state are focused in Madison, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, and that's what we're looking at here. If you are in any of those areas, chances are you're on NES, but there are a lot of folks who are Cumberland Electric. That's why, for example, on the north side of Hendersonville, folks have power, no problems. But you get to south of the bypass, south of 386 Vietnam veterans, and there are a lot of people still without power on the lake side. So NES crews are out there working hard. Please give them room to work. We have substations that are damaged, not to mention the countless lines that are snapped. So they're out there trying to replace them, repair the substations, and get people online as quickly as they can. They know it's cold. They know they're working in the cold, so giving it their best here to get everybody back online. But again, encouraging news, about 1,000 more customers back on within about the last 30 minutes. And this morning, just incredible footage coming in, brand new to our Fox 17 newsroom. This is from Phil Dickson. Phil works for Fox 17 News, and he captured the moment that the tornado came through. There was a fireball, an explosion, and then a huge plume of black smoke that went up into the air. Glad Phil is okay. He was able to capture this from a safe place, but just showing the intensity, right? The magnitude, the force, the power of that tornado as this moved through Madison. This is not far from Nesbitt Lane, where we had 3 people who lost their lives. At 6:25, I do want to get you a look. I mentioned just a moment ago that it is a very cold start to the morning. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, 23 degrees in Columbia, 20 down in Lawrenceburg, 28 in Dickson, where we also have a lot of folks with storm damage there this morning, 23 in Gallatin, 25 in Clarksville, 23 in McMinnville. This is a good opportunity for everybody who has power and a warm place to stay and food to eat, to reach out to your neighbors. Just check on people. Say, hey, do you need a place to come shower? Can I get you a meal? Do you want to come warm up in our house? Can we get you blankets? This is dangerously cold weather for folks to be out in, whether they are victims of the tornadoes and don't have a warm home, or for those who are homeless. So we'll monitor the temperatures. We are tracking a warm up for the week, which is encouraging news. So we'll do that with Greg in just a couple of minutes. Right now in steer clear traffic, giving you a live look over by the airport. I-40 at Donaldson looking good right now. We had a little bit of a jam up around 5:30, but that has since eased. No problems for those of you trying to get in and out of Nashville International Airport along I-40. More steer clear traffic live in a couple of minutes.
why some people might not have known the tornado touchdown here in Clarksville.
Ponzi Law, working within.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
3 lives lost here in Madison after a tornado ripped through the community. As folks waking up, the damage left behind.
2 different live looks now from the heart of downtown Nashville. Sun's coming up, reflecting off of the skyscrapers down here. It's a new week. It's a new day, new beginnings, right? And we know that a lot of you are going to be going through that process very personally. We've got you covered live through 9 a.m. with a look at your forecast and how that could help things as we go through the week.
And just yesterday, we had some storm damage, so that led to road closures. So we're tracking your Steer Clear traffic updates to get you out the door safely this Monday.
Guys, tornado on the ground right in front of us. Right in front of us. Huge tornado on the ground.
Brand new video in this morning to Fox 17 News of the EF3 tornado touching down in Clarksville. You can see the size of the funnel as it rips through that area. This video coming to us from storm chaser Caleb Beecham. He's with a group called the Y'all Squad. These are YouTubers who not only chase storms, but then go directly to the impacted areas to set up recovery efforts to help people in need on the ground. So we'll take a closer look and listen to that in moments. Right now, we're bringing you team coverage this morning on Fox 17 News. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
Yeah, we're tracking the damage left behind from Saturday's tornado outbreak. I'm Erica Glover. We now know that 2 tornadoes have been confirmed by the National Weather Service. One of the worst areas hit was over in Clarksville.
Right. So many folks impacted in that community. Of course, we have a huge military base there in Clarksville of families who are at Fort Campbell. So we begin that team coverage there with Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse.
That's right, guys. So I'm here on Henry Place Boulevard and Bandera Drive. Right at this corner, 3 people died on this block. One of them a 10-year-old little boy. I spoke with some neighbors yesterday. A lot of them told me that they did not hear the sirens go off on this block. Now, you're gonna hear this in just a minute, and I just want to tell you a little bit. This tornado winds up to 150 miles per hour. Now, Governor Bill Lee yesterday, he did address some questions about the sirens not going off. He says that he did not know that people did not hear the sirens, and the state is going to have to take a look into that. Now, we're going to go over to this quick soundbite that you guys can hear, and if you guys can take that.
Tornado on the ground right in front of us. Clarksville, you guys need to be in your shelter. Huge power flashes. Huge power flashes. There's no sirens yet, guys. No sirens. Big tornado on the ground.
So you can hear that right there. No sirens yet. Big tornado on the ground. Yesterday, one of the neighbors that lives on this block actually told me that they didn't hear the sirens go off until after the damage was already done. For now, reporting live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. By the way, I do want to give you a little bit of perspective as to where Peyton is. She is north of Clarksville proper. She is north of Austin Peay State University. This is near Billy Dunlop Park and the Clarksville Speedway and Fairgrounds. So for those of you who might be wondering, okay, what is this exact location? That's more of what we're looking at near Piscott Elementary and Billy Dunlop Park there in Clarksville.
All right, we're continuing our team coverage now. That's over in Madison is where we're going to be. Amanda Chin is there, and we do understand Madison is the area that you were at yesterday. We know 3 people were killed in that area Saturday night, and it was confirmed an EF2 tornado touchdown.
So let's send it out to Amanda right now. Amanda, have you seen anybody up and about this morning working to get anything cleaned up?
Jen, we have not seen anybody so far. It's been very, very quiet this morning, so we are still waiting for maybe people to wake up. We do see some cars outside of some homes, but again, we are still waiting for people to come out and maybe start picking up some of the debris and cleanup that still needs to happen. And we do know, unfortunately, that 3 people died. One of them is a 2-year-old little boy. But if you take a walk with me right here, you can see just some of the damage to this home right here. You can see downed power lines. You can see the roof just completely torn off on the left side of the home. You can see some of the belonging outside of there too, with debris on the ground, trees uprooted, street signs, branches, belongings from homes. Again, you can just see the massive cleanup effort that will still need to be underway here as we wake up and folks wake up this Monday morning. Now, we do know that 21 others were injured, and this was an EF2 tornado. And just to provide some perspective, the width of this tornado was more than 3 football fields. But again, we'll be sure to keep you updated live all morning. Hopefully some people will be out here and we can speak with some people as they wake up. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Amanda, thank you. Just a reminder, we have all of our coverage in one spot at fox17.com. So if you're wanting to look at pictures or rewatch videos, get updates on shelters, we have it all at fox17.com. And that's also the place to go to sign up for our daily newsletter. You might not realize this, but we send out a daily email. Comes straight to your inbox with today's top stories. Of course, we dive deeper on the morning show, but it'll give you kind of a rundown of what we're covering of the day. You can sign up for that as well on the homepage, fox17.com.
We also mentioned earlier that NES confirmed 2, but Greg was saying that that number will likely go up as they get out there and survey more damage.
Oh, with the Weather Service.
Oh, sorry, yes, National Weather Service.
It could go up to as high as 13, but they've got to get up to all these different locations, and they only typically can send 2 survey crews out a day.
Greg, if you had to guess where they go today, because they've been officially to Clarksville and then Madison-Hendersonville, if you had to guess where they might be going today, what would you guess?
I already know.
You do?
That they're going to Gallatin at least.
Gallatin for sure.
They're going to finish the rest of that path of that tornado that moved in.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Springfield was on that list as well.
Okay.
So that's just my guess is the second one, but I know Gallatin that they'll be out there.
Gotcha.
And that's the end of this path right here. It says path length to be determined. They're going to finish that one first and then move along to the next area that they can get to. This was a strong storm. That's what we have been covering all morning long. No, you know, the Madison area, the Hendersonville tornado, and that path was, that path width of the tornado was around 400 yards. Taking a look here, roofs torn off of well-constructed houses, foundations and frames shifted, large trees snapped and uprooted, and cars lifted off the ground. That's what we're seeing in that area.
We're always keeping a very close eye on your Steer Clear traffic updates, trying to help you get out the door as quickly as possible out there on the highway. This is a live look, I-65, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. This is looking really good. We have no slowdowns, no brake check. We'll continue giving those updates, though, when it comes to your traffic until 9 o'clock.
It is not just businesses hit hard in Hendersonville, it's also homes as well. We're going to show you one of the hardest hit areas of the city coming up in just a few.
Type 2 diabetes, discuss.
6:39 is the time this Monday morning, and we are continuing our team coverage of the EF2 tornado that hit Gallatin, that truly left behind a path of destruction. So many folks waking up and thinking we have so much work to do.
Yeah, I mean, it from Madison through Hendersonville onto Gallatin, and the messes that are there now in between are extensive. So we're going to join right now Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland. He's been in Hendersonville this morning. Justin, are you still in front of the strip mall where there's a Saks Deli, the Movement Church? Is that still your location?
No, Jen, I've moved just a little bit here. Right now, I'm just down the street from that location. I'm at the Hunters Trail area here in Hendersonville, and this is where you can see the damage back here behind us just a little bit there. Good morning, sir. I'm sorry, someone with the city of Hendersonville has just stopped by here, and they're kind of assessing the damage for themselves. They were speaking to us there. But you can see where the power lines here have been hit and have come down in these folks' yard here on Hunter's Trail. And there is still a lot of work that has been done and a lot of work that is going to be done here in this area. There has been people out here with chainsaws piling up some of the debris debris here on the curb so that the city can come by and pick it up at some point. There's also notices on front of the doors here warning people that some of these places are not places that need to be habitated right now. It's not safe. We're also seeing some of those blue tarps starting to pop up here in Hendersonville as well. And those blue tarps are going to be all over, not just Hendersonville, but all over Clarksville, all over Madison, all over Gallatin, as the contractors start to get out and start their work. The electricity is slowly coming back on here in Hendersonville, but it is not fully back on yet. But if you're driving down Main Street, I can tell you this, those traffic lights that were not working yesterday, most of them are back up and going, and that is certainly great news for drivers here. Jen and Erica.
Good news. That is great news, Justin. I can notice over your left shoulder, Justin, that looks to be the big U-Haul storage facility off in the distance. So that would be Main Street behind you. Yeah. You know, we've seen so much damage to the businesses, but I'm thankful that you're showing us the impact to the neighborhoods. You know, we've got Sumner County schools closed.
Yeah.
And so many of these folks are living, I don't know if you've seen this, but are still living in those homes where the first floor is still intact.
Yeah, Jen, you know, I've been in these situations so many times, and it's really hard to force people out of their homes. So even though we're in temperatures in the 20s out here this morning, it cannot be comfortable to be inside of a house without electricity, and no street on this house, I guarantee you, has electricities with wires down like this. Yet and still, there are people that I'm sure are inside of their home, even though the city has urged people to get out, even as going as far as putting notices on the door saying that this house is not to be habitated. But I promise you, there are people who have gone back inside their homes, even if they don't want to be seen right now.
Yeah, Justin McFarland, thank you so much. And to his point, I know folks who live in Hendersonville, and I'm going to text them and say, hey, do you still not have power?
Right. Right. And a reminder, too, generators, right? We know a lot of folks were able to find generators yesterday, so they're getting power to their homes. Keep the generators outside. They don't belong in the house or in a garage. For safety's sake.
They do not. I mean, safety is everything right now, and just making sure that everyone does stay safe and follow the right precautions, because you may have never used a generator before, and you think, oh, I'll just put it in the garage, it's cold outside. No, that is an absolute no-go. Aftermath is one of the biggest things here for our weather story. Cold mornings in the 20s right now. We are calm, we are sunny throughout the rest of this week. We'll work with your forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Time right now, 6:43, and we're going to switch gears and look ahead to something, you know, maybe to look forward to tonight. The Titans are playing on Monday Night Football. Chris Sanders is going to join us to break down the matchup coming up.
It's at 9.
Right now, Fox 17 News following breaking news. Metro Nashville police say one person was killed after an overnight shooting. So we're mapping this out for you right here on the screen. Police letting us know it happened around 3 o'clock this morning at a home over on Thompson Lane. As of right now, they do not have a shooter in custody, but of course, we'll continue updating this story when it comes to breaking news as we get more answers.
Tennessee Titans in the primetime spotlight on Monday Night Football, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Here to help us break down the big primetime matchup, former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. And Chris, let's first start with the Dolphins offense, because there's always a lot of attention on those superstars. The receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, also two tough running backs. When it comes to trying to slow down that high-powered offense, what's the key for the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, it's going to be tough, and it goes to where you with Shane Bourne. Shane Bourne's going to have to come up with a defense to stop all these guys, but there's just so many explosive players on the team. You talked about Tyreek Hill, who has over 1,400 yards, and then you have Waddle, who's on the other side, that can also make explosive plays. But the one thing they have to do is make sure they win on third down. When I say win on third down, is you can't let them extend those drives, because they're going to kill you and make an explosive play.
Looking at Tyreek Hill specifically, the fastest player in the NFL.
Hey! I got a little speed now.
Other than former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. But Chris, when you have one-on-one coverage with him, how do the DBs defend someone with such great speed like Hill?
You give him a lot of cushion. I mean, you can't get up and press this guy because you know why he has the nickname Cheetah. Because if you look at a cheetah is explosive and it can change directions. That's exactly what Tyreek Hill is he can change directions. He can get you off the spot. When I say get him off the spot, he can make you change your hips in different ways. So what they have to do is they got to come up and press him, but also have a safety over top to eliminate those explosive plays.
On the flip side, looking at the Dolphins' defense, 6th best defense in the league, and their pass rush tied for the 3rd most sacks in the league. And pass protection has been an issue for the Tennessee Titans offense this year with that offensive line and as much shuffling as they've had with those linemen up front. Chris, what's going to be the key for the Titans making sure that pass protection stands strong going up against that pass rush?
You know, it's going to be with Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator. Now, I know I said it on the defense side, but on the offense side, Tim Kelly's got to make sure he puts this offense line in position to be successful. And the way you can do that is go a 2 tight, a 1 back, a 2 tight to make sure you help those tackles. Because you better believe with Wilkins and Chubb, those guys are going to be coming off the edges. So they got to make sure they have the formations to stop that pass rush.
Will Levis, he's already played on Thursday Night Football, primetime spotlight against the Steelers. But let's be honest, Monday Night Football is a different beast. Chris, with the young rookie having played only so many games, how confident are you that he'll be able to handle the pressure of Monday Night Football going up against the top team in the AFC?
You know, I think he can because he's always played on the big stage. He played at the University of Kentucky, so he's used to the spotlight. And I think he's made for this because if you watch his body language, the one thing that he has is he's not afraid. When you have a quarterback that's not afraid, he's going to come out there and make some plays. It's a different beast when you're playing on Monday night because everybody's eyes are watching you. And I think he kind of likes that because he wants to go out there and show that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Talking to a lot of the players this week in the locker room, they emphasized how important it was coming off the Colts loss to stay positive, to keep each other up, pick each other up, and keep that energy higher in the locker room. Chris, the Titans mathematically are not eliminated from the playoffs, but this is a tough matchup on Monday Night Football, and their schedule does not get any easier. How can these players continue to motivate each other and stay positive in this difficult stretch of the season?
You know, you got 2 choices. You got a choice to get bitter or get better. Because if you get bitter, you're going to go out there and make mistakes and you're going to make it about you. But if you want to get better, even though mathematically you still have a chance to make it playoffs, go out there and give everything you got because, you know, you may not make the playoffs. Just go out there and do what you can do. And if you go out there and have an attitude of I'm going to do my part, make some plays. If it's catching the football, if it's blocking the tackle, if whatever it is, make the play and do what's good for the team, not for yourself.
Control what you can control, and also no X plays. No X plays. Slow down the cheetah on Monday Night Football. He's the former Titans wide receiver, Chris Sanders. Chris, as always,
appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
Greg, it's going to be a whole lot warmer for sure down in South Florida than this morning. We're talking 20s, frosty.
Yeah, we feel like we're in the 20s right now, and Miami's going to be a nice 79 degrees later on this afternoon. So they're going to have good weather for that game. This is not great, though. We've got all the areas that are cleaning up, and we feel like we're in the low 20s across a good chunk of Middle Tennessee and mainly north of I-40 where most of our damage is at. The areas that are still seeing the most power outages, those are the areas where you go, Montgomery County, Sumner County, Davidson County. Most of those areas are the ones that are seeing the coldest spots as well. Off to the west, not a whole lot happening for us here that we have to worry about, which is finally a good news story for us. We have no rain in the forecast the next 5 days across the board. Today, a high of 49 here back across Middle Tennessee. Tomorrow, 56 degrees, and then we'll keep the middle 50s, taking us all the way into and out of the rest of this week.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Cleanup is underway in Middle Tennessee after deadly tornadoes ripped through the state Saturday night. Frightening images include this twister and explosions picked up by a traffic camera there. Damage was substantial. Storms wrecked buildings, downed power lines, and left cars covered in debris.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
6:52, checking in on your Steer Clear traffic updates. Right now, we're going to give you a live look right here, I-24 Waldron Road, another area that is not having any slowdowns as of right now, giving you the green light for this area. and stay clear. We'll have some more updates when it comes to your steer clear traffic updates up until 9 a.m. But coming up, how you can help when it comes to tornado cleanup efforts across the mid-state, what you need to know, and of course, go to fox17.com for that complete list of ways to get involved. Welcome back. We talked about if you're looking for ways to volunteer, that we're going to share that with you. So there are ongoing cleanup efforts, and we want to make sure folks know how to do this.
Well, sure, because they've said, well, do you need money? Do you need my time? Do you
Charging
need
stations.
Do you need my chainsaws? Yes,
Yeah.
all of those things. Well, there are a lot of opportunities available, and more importantly, these are organized activities. The best way for you to serve others is in an organized way, so you don't get in the way of the folks that are doing the hard work. So let's get you the details here in Clarksville. Mosaic Church in Clarksville is asking volunteers to arrive at the church at 8 o'clock this morning. We know that Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are out today. So if you don't have school or you're not going to work and you have power and you're able, they would love to have you show up at 8 o'clock this morning to serve.
Oh yeah, because they're going to have the county school buses taking volunteers from the church, Mosaic Church in Clarksville, to designated clean-up locations. Now let's also talk about some shelters and take a look at your screen right now, because if you know someone who is in need, please share this list with them. Northeast High School in Clarksville, they are going to be serving as a shelter. Church of Christ, that's over at Trenton Crossing, that's another area. And then Beach High School and Cornerstone Church, we talked about that. It's over in Madison, their community center as well, a point of a reference if you're looking for a shelter.
Yeah, absolutely. Another couple of spots that have been open, the Dickson YMCA and the center in Springfield. Now, I do know that some of these spots, like the one in Springfield, have said these are going to be on an as-needed basis. So if no one shows up by a certain time of the night, then they won't keep it open. But as long as somebody shows up and says, we need a place to stay, they're going to be there for you.
And not all of these shelters allow your pets. So maybe you want to take your pet somewhere, you've been temporarily displaced. There is a place for you to bring your pet, have a good place to shelter in. Go to Polster Nashville for help. Okay, contact Polster. We have the email address right here at the bottom of your screen, and we'll also be sharing that on fox17.com.
I mean, listen, Erica and I would love to take your babies, your fur babies, but we also have full houses.
We sure do. With real babies and fur babies.
I know. I thought about this yesterday. I thought, gosh, I wish I could take them all in. But again, a great resource if you do need to get your dog somewhere while you are staying in the shelter. And for all kinds of resources, including where you can take your pets, where you yourself can get help, all of our extensive coverage, including photos and videos for you in one place at fox17.com.
So we talk about helping and sheltering in place. We know it's chilly outside, so those shelters are a must right now.
The shelters are a must, and we're talking about pets, furry friends. Those of us who were not affected but still have to just have the morning routine going on. Very cold. We are very cold everywhere. Taking a look at your dog walking forecast, 29 degrees will be your temperature at 7, 35 at 9 a.m., 40 degrees at 11, and only 45 at 1 p.m. This is the coolest day of the week, not terribly cold, but plenty of sunshine, and then we get back into the 50s starting tomorrow. No rain today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Our next decent chance for a few showers in our forecast is not going to be until we make our way into late Saturday after sunset into Sunday. So until then, the cleanup effort should be okay. Right side of your screen, the current temps will continue to be there for you all the way through 9 o'clock, even during commercial breaks.
Greg, thank you. Let's get into steer clear traffic. We have something that has popped up that we need to bring to your attention. We have a nearly all stop on I-65 at Cool Springs Boulevard down between Brentwood and Franklin. Unfortunately, this is inbound to Nashville. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes of traffic at a near standstill. We're getting reports of a crash. Let's see, I'm trying to get a visual. The crash is I-65 at Moores. This is the backup at I-65 at Cool Springs. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend a detour for you. If you are leaving Franklin this morning and you're coming up through Brentwood, do not get on I-65. I would instead recommend getting on 31 to the west, or you could jump on Carruthers Parkway to the east. Heck, you could even take Mallory Lane for a good portion. So Mallory Lane and Carruthers Parkway run parallel to I-65 on the east and the west, and here's the crash. We do have several cars involved, first responders on scene, which is good news, but you can see they are trying to funnel. Look to the top right of your screen, just under that steer clear traffic banner, Erica. Look how they're trying to siphon and funnel through all that traffic in 2 lanes. We'll monitor this for you and get more information and steer clear traffic in minutes.
We're also diving deeper into the numbers because we now know at least 26 different deadly tornadoes have struck the U.S. so far just in this year alone. And that is the most seen in a single year since 2011. And that's when more than 550 people died in more than 50 deadly tornadoes. This year, tornadoes have killed 82 people, including a number of tornadoes that happened on Saturday, which is above the average over the past 30 years. Tornadoes have killed people in 12 different states this year, with Mississippi seeing the most deaths, 24. That is followed by Tennessee, which is 16. That does include the 6 deaths from Saturday.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
The aftermath, the destruction after a 150-mile-per-hour tornado ripped through Clarksville.
We'll look at what we know so far in terms of damage reports, tornado estimates of wind speed, and what's next in terms of who might learn what happened to them when it comes to surveys coming up in your forecast.
And we're taking a look ahead at the long road to recovery as survivors are now counting their blessings truly this Monday morning, and the focus on rebuilding and helping others.
Yeah, we have you covered as your only live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m., and we're glad to be part of your morning routine. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. Fox 17 News, your only local news source from 7 to 9. When everyone else goes to network, we're staying local for you, and that matters a whole lot this Monday morning.
Sure does.
Guys, tornado on the ground right in front of us. Right in front of us. Huge tornado on the ground.
And that is brand new video and sound that we're getting in here to Fox 17 News this morning, along with your pictures and your videos. That video from a storm chaser named Caleb Beecham, who was in Clarksville as that tornado hit. He's with a group called the Y'all Squad. They not only storm chase, but they then go into the impacted areas to provide recovery and rebuilding efforts as well.
And I remember yesterday you were speaking with him out there in Madison.
Yeah.
And now we're getting this video for all of you. And we now know at least 6 people ultimately lost their lives on Saturday. There is a preliminary report. This could change, but as of right now, 13 tornadoes touched down on Saturday. The National Weather Service, though, surveying the damage. They're going to be out and about this morning.
They will. So sending teams to new locations to get those damage reports. And we have continuing coverage of all angles on this story, bringing you updates from different locations. We begin right now in Clarksville. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse has been out there since the storm hit, bringing us an update now new this morning.
Jen, that's right. I'm on Henry Place Drive, and it's between Henry Place Boulevard and Bandera Drive. Behind me, this is just one home that's destroyed on this block. I'm going to have Brooker kind of pan and just follow me around over here. You can see all of this debris, all of this just mass destruction after a 150-mile-per-hour tornado ripped through this area. You could see a car a little bit ahead of me. If Brooker, our photojournalist, he can zoom in on that. That's just one car here. There's 2, 3, a few behind me. There's belongings, pieces of furniture. There's a teddy bear over here. Teddy bear. We do know that 3 people died, including a child 10 years old. That child, neighbors tell us, lives actually that house over there. There was a home right next to it. The first one that you see, that home is completely destroyed. It's gone. Now, this is what we know so far. And obviously complete. There's so much here. Reporting live in Clarksville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Peyton, thank you very much. From Clarksville, we now go to Springfield, where there is extensive damage there in Robertson County. And joining us live this morning on the phone is Springfield City Manager Ryan Martin to talk about the damage there. Ryan, good morning to you, and thank you so much for carving out some time for us. First question for you this Monday morning. What are the locations there in Springfield that have the most damage?
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me. Our locations where the tornado touched down would be southeastern part of Springfield around the Memorial Boulevard and Brent Lawn Drive area. We had some heavy damage to both the east and western parts of that intersection. We had quite a few homes in our industrial park that were damaged in that area.
We also want to, sorry to cut you off, we also want to know, what is the biggest need right now? Is it chainsaws? Is it just folks getting out there to volunteer? What do we need to know about what y'all need most?
Well, we're thankful. We had a lot of folks volunteer over the weekend after it happened Saturday night yesterday, and there's going to be folks out today. If you have a chainsaw and you want to come to that affected area around Brent Lawn Drive, Sunset and Rudolph Street area, that would be helpful because there are some folks that probably still need some help based on what we saw yesterday. We walked the area yesterday and talked to the residents, talked to the affected citizens, and so there probably is still some use for some volunteers as we enter the debris cleanup period.
Okay, Ryan, what we're taking a look at right now while we're talking to you are some photos that came into us from Dot Road Photography showing places like the Kroger, the fuel station, that little strip mall where there's a cell phone store and a Jets Pizza, the Holman Jewelry store right there as well. As we look at the damage, it is there are places that are level. Do you have any reports of injuries?
We had minor injuries only. We were very, very grateful, Jennifer, and thankful that we only had minor injuries. We know that our neighbors to the west and east of us weren't maybe as fortunate in that regard, and so we're very fortunate we only had minor injuries, a handful of transports to the hospital, especially in that area where there was heavy commercial damage. The General Dental Care Clinic, the Home and Jewelry store, the Jets Pizza is totally wiped away. The Valvoline store, we understand, had employees in it that took shelter in the oil pit, and so people were very fortunate as this thing moved through.
And the oil pit is where they sheltered?
That's what we understand.
Wow.
We also are very, very fortunate. We learned that the Jets Pizza employees did evacuate that store before it came through, and the tornado completely demolished that.
Ryan, can I ask real quick, though, do you have any important road closures that you want folks to know about?
Sure. We have just a couple of minor roads that are still closed. 17th Avenue near Memorial Boulevard, that's going to be closed still until some more electric service work can be done there. Also, Bradley Drive off of Bill Jones Industrial will be closed. All of the other major roads are open. What we would ask is for folks to stay, try to avoid, if you don't live there or have a reason to go, try to avoid the affected area so we can get cleanup crews in and out. Those roads are very narrow through those neighborhoods, and so we would ask for folks to try to avoid the area if possible.
Ryan Martin, the city manager there in Springfield, thank you so much for your time. We're praying for all of those families impacted and appreciate the update here this morning.
We're going to check in now with Greg Bovis because weather top of mind when it comes to temperatures for folks who are getting out there to volunteer this morning.
We are off to a cold start. Right side of your screen, you can see we're in the 20s across the board. And one of the more helpful ways to get updates when it comes to any severe weather in your neighborhood, we talk about it every day, is getting this QR code scan and getting the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. We'll look at your 7-day forecast in about 5 minutes.
Greg, thank you so much. Steer clear traffic time. Want to bring back to your attention the biggest issue that we have in steer clear traffic, and that is a crash involving several cars down between Franklin and Brentwood. This is a look at I-65 at Moores Lane. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 cars involved in this crash. Now, the good news is since our last update a couple of minutes ago, they've managed to get the cars off to the right shoulder. Traffic now flowing, but be prepared for backups coming into Nashville. Best bet's going to take Mallory Lane or Carruthers Parkway as your detours.
All right, 2 mid-state counties have canceled school after that tornado on Saturday wrecking through the area. What parents need to know this morning and students as well.
We're live this morning in Hendersonville. This is where the recovery continues in one neighborhood after an EF2 tornado comes flying through. We're going to tell you how one man was able to survive.
As winter approaches,
it was absolutely terrifying. Like 2 minutes, everything you worked on your whole life just completely gone.
Oh, that is just the sad reality for so many families. Waking up this morning in Hendersonville, deeply impacted because of the tornado that came through Saturday night. It's where we find Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland. Justin, I know you've had a chance to look at some of the damage to businesses and now to homes there on the lake side. So on the lake side of Hendersonville, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Hunter's Trail here in Hendersonville. I just finished speaking with one person who actually survived the storm right there in his house, and he considers himself lucky to be alive. And I would say so after taking a look at the damage left over. I was just speaking to the guy living in that house right there, that duplex right there. He says he was in there and he heard what sounded like a train, but he didn't see a train. He looked outside and instead he saw that EF2 tornado coming straight at his house. He crawled down and basically covered his head until the storm went flying over him. Debris went flying everywhere. He came outside and he says it was pitch black at that point, could not see anything at all, and was just trying to find neighbors or whatever he could to get help. Now he's just trying to salvage what he can. He actually asked us for the number to the Red Cross. He says he's been looking for the best way to get help, but he had to get up this morning and go to work, and has been trying to find ways to connect with the Red Cross or some other charities here as he's trying to put together the pieces. And he's not alone. Up and down this street here on Hunter's Trail in particular, people have been trying to figure out exactly what to do next after this particular area got the brunt of that EF2 storm. It's not just here up and down Main Street. There are a lot of businesses that got hit hard. We spoke with one local pastor who described exactly what he felt after he saw his church hit hard.
Just a lot of tears. Have 3 beautiful daughters and a wife that they just started sobbing. Our youngest, she's 6, said, Dad, does this mean you can't be a pastor anymore? So it was an emotional night.
Certainly sounds like it. The good news is the electricity is starting to come back on here in Hendersonville. We're going to tell you more about that coming up in a few. For now, we're live for you in Hendersonville. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Corvette station.
Justin, thank you so much. We're also keeping you in the know as you head out the door this Monday morning. Want to make sure that you do know all Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are going to be closed today and tomorrow. I'm pretty sure most of the parents, students, and teachers are already aware of that, but just keep that in mind when it comes to traffic situations. We do have all of this information over on fox17.com, but again, all Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are going to be closed. They're getting in there to assess the damage on campus, and then they're also letting us know that the community is being impacted, so they're going to be out there volunteering. When it comes to other school closures with power outages, again, go to fox17.com. In Metro Nashville, Bellshire Elementary School going to be operating on a 2-hour delay this Monday. You can also, once again, visit the website. That way you get all the up-to-date information regarding the school closures. We know that some more school closures might be happening tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Greg.
And at 7:14, Greg, one of the reasons that we have school out for Sumner County, Clarksville, Montgomery, and maybe some private schools as well, I know Davidson Academy is out today, is because of a lack of power. You know, we've also got still debris down in so many places. And those cold temperatures really making an impact as well.
Yeah, it's all wrapped up into one here. The debris, the lack of power, and sometimes when you don't have power, you might not have good drinking water. There's a whole kind of thing we have to watch out for here in the coming days, and that cold cannot be stressed enough. A sneak peek at your 7-day forecast. 49 degrees later on this afternoon. We'll be in the 50s starting tomorrow. We'll dive more into your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Right now, just about 7:15 here on your Monday morning. It is December 11th, and Fox 17 News going to continue to share the stories of the families who are picking up the pieces, how our communities are coming together, and so many who are starting over. We're going to take a look in Madison in minutes.
This season, cozy up.
At 7:17 here on Fox 17 News, we are continuing our team coverage, and we want to make sure that you understand that 3 people all in all were killed in Madison Saturday night when a confirmed EF2 tornado touched down. This happening near Nesbitt Lane. That is where we find this morning Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin. She's been out there since about 4 o'clock this morning. So Amanda, as the sun comes up, more people heading out there, what are you seeing around you?
Yes, you're right. I am here in Nesbitt Lane in Madison, and it has been a pretty quiet morning. However, we did just see NES crews drive by, but I think they left, so we aren't really sure what they're doing at the moment, but we haven't seen anyone really walking out or coming to check on their homes. Maybe we'll see some in a few minutes, but so far we have not seen anything. It's been a very quiet Monday morning. Now, we do know, unfortunately, 3 people on this street passed away, including a little 2-year-old boy. Metro Police tell us that a mobile home toppled on top of another home, and that's how, unfortunately, those deaths occurred. But if you take a look behind me, you'll see just some of the damage we are waking up to this morning on this home. You can see the roof blown off, window panels off, windows blown out, the left side of the home just completely destroyed. You can see on the ground here we have debris, trees uprooted, power lines down, branches belonging from homes. So a very large cleanup effort that still needs to take place. Now, we do know that 21 others were injured and that Nashville is still in a state of emergency. Now, just to provide some perspective on this EF2 tornado, the National Weather Service says that the width of this tornado is more than 3 times the size of a football field. Now, again, we will continue to keep you updated as we move throughout the morning. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Amanda, thank you. I heard you mention that an NES crew came through that neighborhood there in Madison on Nesbitt Lane. They are deploying everywhere throughout the midstate right now. Let's take a look at the current power outage situation because they have made progress this morning. Very early in the morning, we were at about 10,000 power outages still, but at last check, NES telling us that they've got about 6,100 customers without power, which is a huge improvement. Thousands more customers, more homes and businesses coming back online this morning. You can see the majority of the outages are focused in, if we look at the map here, so here's Nashville. Right, we've got Nashville here. We do have some out toward the west of Nashville. We can go up north and see this is the Madison area right in here. And then we've got all the power outages that are also focused in Hendersonville and Gallatin. So again, progress being made for sure. Please be patient and give these NES crews room to work. Fox 17 News also, thanking all of our viewers for your pictures, your videos. They help tell the story. For as many crews as we have out live this morning, we obviously can't be everywhere at once. So if you can safely send us your photos and videos, we'll be putting them here on the air live through 9 and also sharing them with you over at fox17.com.
And taking a look at that damage that we just saw a few minutes ago, this is from the EF2 tornado that we were mentioning. Path length is still to be determined because the National Weather Service is going to go out to Gallatin today to see if this stayed on the ground all the way through there or if it jumped. Will it be considered a separate tornado? They're going to figure all that out later today. Either way, the number doesn't matter. The wind speed's the big thing here, and the damage is also the big thing. We have to work our way through this here. What does an EF2 do to you when it comes through your neighborhood? It can tear roofs off of any building. It can give foundational issues here and shift the building. Large trees can be uprooted and cars can be lifted and thrown off the ground. And that is what we're seeing in the Hendersonville, Madison, and Gallatin areas here as we wake up on this Monday.
Thank you, Greg. Checking in on steer clear traffic right now. Want to get you updated. I-65 at Trinity Lane, a little stacked up. You can see the traffic toward the top left. That's commuters coming into Nashville from north of town. Nothing out of the ordinary, though. Just a little congestion coming in north of Nashville. We did have a deadly crash this morning up in Pleasant View on I-24 outbound. Still residual delays there, but that crash is in the clearing stages. We've got a delay coming in from Brentwood on I-65, a crash there near Moore's Lane. Best detours through Brentwood and Franklin would be Mallory or Carruthers. And starting to see a stack up as well on I-24 coming in from Laverne. We'll monitor those updates. And Erica was just sharing with me she has a viewer question about secondary road closures in places like Hendersonville. We'll talk about that here in just a couple minutes.
After the break, though, at least one person critically injured in a shooting that occurred over in East Nashville. We'll tell you what investigators have shared with us so far.
And predators are focused focused on storm survivors right now and folks who are kind, generous, and looking to help others. We're going to share important information with you this morning about how to avoid getting ripped off by scammers.
Monday, Gail King.
Right now, we have a warning from the Better Business Bureau about predators looking to take advantage of storm survivors. We always talk about this, and it's just a sad situation to be in.
Well, it is. I mean, these scammers will try to hit people when they're at the lowest of their low, because they know there is a weakness there. But we're trying to empower you, okay, to give you information, to keep you safe, and you know, not to let these scammers take advantage of you and your kind hearts. We're talking specifically about illegitimate contractors or people who claim they're going to come in and fix your roof, fix your siding,
but instead take your money and skip out on town.
That's exactly
all right. So here is how you can go ahead and protect yourself. Take a look at your screen. The Better Business Bureau does recommend checking with your insurance company first for approved contractors. That's always a good idea. And then just keep those receipts. Don't toss them. And if they ask for the money ahead of time, that's kind of like,
That's a great point, Erica, because anybody who's trying to make you pay before they do the work, especially pay in full, that's a big red flag. You can also Google, make sure you ask for the name of the company. Oh, what's your name again? What's the name of your company? And then Google them before you agree to any terms, contracts, or money exchanges. Right now, the Metro Nashville Police Department is investigating a shooting that has happened in East Nashville. This is breaking news coming in from overnight.
Police say the shooting happened in the 800 block of Dickerson Pike. It happened on Sunday. We do know one person in critical condition after the shooting, but as of right now, the shooter is not in custody. We're going to continue making calls, getting those answers as soon as we go throughout this morning.
And at 7:27 right now, getting a quick check of your forecast with Greg, who's taking a look at the really cold temperatures to start this Monday.
Yeah, there's not much in my world that's going on this week other than temperatures and knowing what we have to deal with when you get out the door. 20s this morning, so areas that don't have power, that don't have heat, that might have lost their belongings, they're going to be cold. Help them out if you can. We're in the 20s to right near 30 degrees to start off this morning.
Traffic-wise at 727, do you want to take a live look out there to see what's happening on I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway? You can see a little bit of a slowdown, but there's no crashes. This is your typical Monday morning commute, so just keep that in mind if you're heading out. Again, this is I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway.
Preliminary reports here on this Monday morning show 13 possible tornadoes touching down in Tennessee, southern Kentucky over the weekend. We're getting new information this morning and what you can expect as the cleanup is well underway.
DuPixent helps you do more.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Most importantly, we need to remember the victims, and there are a lot of them. People that have lost their lives, people that have lost everything that they own.
A community united as we continue to hear more reaction this Monday morning. We're bringing you team coverage and the very latest updates as we survey the damage left behind by this weekend's deadly tornadoes.
And that storm system has brought in very cold air. We feel like we're in the 20s on the right side of your screen. We're sunny, which is good news. We'll see how long the sunshine lasts in your forecast.
Breaking news in steer clear traffic. We have a fire reported on I-65 not far from Old Hickory Boulevard, which is also in that tornado zone. Fox 17 News getting you steer clear traffic updates right now. What you're looking at is an absolute standstill on I-65. We'll get you the info and the detours here in moments.
Busy morning, but of course we want to start by thanking you for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News this Monday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Yes, glad to be here for you as your live local news source through 9 a.m.
It's rough being that it's Christmas time, but I'm thankful. You know, it could have been worse than that. I could have been burying one of my kids, saying goodbye for the last time, but I still got them here, so I'm grateful. I'm thankful.
That gratitude is something that a lot of folks are processing this morning in the middle of grief, right? Trying to find gratitude in the middle of grief. Folks across the mid-state are mourning the loss of life, including this little boy in Montgomery County. So Clarksville is where we know 3 people died in the tornadoes. The community rallying to raise money for the family of that 10-year-old boy who was killed there in Clarksville, and his family, who also lost their entire home.
On your screen right now is the GoFundMe page that has been set up trying to raise money for this family. As of right now, they have raised $79,000, and we know that we've been monitoring this, and it continues to go up. I believe at last check there was another page with more money, so we're going to double check that, of course. But if you want to see that GoFundMe page, please go to fox17.com.
So many ways that you can help those impacted by the deadly tornadoes, whether it's through a GoFundMe or picking up a chainsaw or showing up to serve meals. We've seen it all unfold, and right now we've got Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joining us live in Clarksville, where those 3 people, including that little boy, lost their lives. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning, you guys. Now, I just want you to take a look. All of this destruction right behind me. This is just one house. Right here, I don't even know if I can pick this up. I don't know if this is marble, granite. I think this might be granite. Pretty heavy, cracked. Probably could hear that. Sorry if it was extremely loud and hurt your ears. More granite all over there. There's a little children's backpack right here. It's like a unicorn backpack, frozen. Those are kind of some of the harder things to see. Obviously, a child, 10-year-old, lost their life here. Little boy, I actually spoke with neighbors whose children is friends with the little boy. He was a very energetic kid from what I heard. He always loved to play outside, loved the outdoors. Now, photographer, photojournalist, Ryan Brooker, he's on this shot on me right now. This is a fridge, and I'm also standing on a piece of wood, so just to give you perspective, this piece is standing. This right here, gone. I'm going to try to safely walk through all of this. You've got a stove. You've got what I think is either a washer or, yeah, this is a washer. As you can see, lots of destruction here. 3 people dead. 1 child. Now, the cleanup, there's a lot of work still left to do, but yesterday, crews were out here helping everybody, and I know more people are going to come. I see a few people trickling in here, but for now, live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. Right now here on Fox 17 News, we're taking a look at our Facebook page as we try to remain Tennessee strong. That's what we're all about, and we want to hear from all of you. We're asking, what is it about Tennesseans that makes us so resilient in the face of devastation? So right behind me is our Fox Nashville Facebook page. I'm going to circle some of the responses from the question that we asked. So right now I'm seeing a comment from this user up here. He wrote, community, empathy, compassion, unselfishness, love. We all need to help one another. We certainly do. Let me read 2 more. Compassion. That was one of the biggest responses that we saw when we asked this question. And I know I like this one as well. Leanne Ashley Beckham wrote, we are the volunteer state for a reason. Look at your neighbors. Even if they were not impacted, they are out here helping one another. That's what it's all about. We want to continue sharing your responses throughout 9 a.m. So please, please, please go sound off. Let us know what makes Tennessee so resilient. I'm going to send it over to Greg Bovis because what's your answer? Give me a response.
My response to this whole thing, and I've been through several of these, is everything that you just read is 100% spot on. Help. Help is the one thing that I say when it comes to getting through this in any way, shape, or form you can. It doesn't need to be money. It can be time. It can be a donation. Just help in any way that you can, even just giving someone a warm meal or dropping something off to someone that has no power. Aftermath is the big thing here for the weather story. We don't have any rain until the weekend. We're going to keep it calm and sunny, but the mornings are going to be cold. Maybe go pick up a winter coat from Target or something and just drop it off to one of your friends that you know might need just a little extra warmth in the next couple of days, because this is the biggest story. The feels like temperature right now is 18 degrees in Tullahoma, but you get up toward Clarksville and Gallatin, 23 is how it feels outside right now as the sun is already up, but we have not seen much improvement when it comes to how cold we are to kick off today.
Greg, thank you very much. We are starting to get a bit of a mess in steer clear traffic. I want to begin with the most urgent, and that is this current absolute standstill for the most part on I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard is where we currently have reports of a fire on the interstate. It's coming into TDOT as a vehicle fire. Not sure whether that's a car, a truck, or an 18-wheeler, but this looks to be in the southbound lanes, which is coming into Nashville. This has caused an extreme backup all the way to Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and all the way to Goodlettsville. Unfortunately, this is also the interchange where you would get off at Old Hickory Boulevard, where we have a lot of tornado damage. For example, a portion of Old Hickory Boulevard by Cedar Hill Park is shut down. And the other direction of Old Hickory Boulevard is Nesbitt Lane, where we have extensive tornado damage. I would recommend not getting off at Old Hickory. That's part of the reason we have this backup. Instead, if you are coming in from north of town, I would recommend taking Dickerson Pike. I would not recommend Gallatin Pike. Here's why. A portion of Gallatin Pike is also shut down as a result of tornado damage. Instead, you could take Myatt Drive to come around. You could also try to get on Graycroft and come down Ellington. So more details and detours coming up in minutes.
Live this morning in Hendersonville, where a place that is known to give help now needs help. I'm going to explain when we come back.
If you think a truck accident...
It was very hurtful. We were hit once before, about 7 years ago, and it took the entire roof off of us and part of the party store next to us, and we had to totally rebuild at that point.
Man, oh man, being hit twice. Okay, so the lights are slowly coming back on for people in Hendersonville. That's good news. In a few hours, crews, we know this, are going to be back working, trying to recover whatever they can, salvage it all.
Right, and what we're looking at here is right along Main Street there in Hendersonville. Look, she found a sign that said blessed. That particular location was the miscellaneous furniture and antique store, which is connected to the Ultimate Party store right next door, and then the strip mall right beside that, where we're looking at the damage here. So extensive damage there along Gallatin Pike, also known as Main Street in Hendersonville.
Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland live in Hendersonville with a look at the damage and the progress being made.
Yeah, good morning. So here in Hendersonville, we're just outside of a place called United Pediatrics Therapy, a place known to give help to people who may be in need of those kinds of services. And you can see right here the heavy cinder blocks that went flying from this location. Not just here, though, all over, not just the front, but inside office number 130 here. They've already begun doing some work here. They've already got some, a stage set up inside where they were trying to climb up and see what they can do. But as you can see right there, it's going to take a while before this place is back to anything like normal. And it looks like this in many parts of the city of Hendersonville this morning. We've seen people all over, even though this storm has been over for a couple of days now. People are still in disbelief about what they have seen. People are still walking around with sort of this look on their face like, I cannot believe this is happening here. But it is. People are also hopeful, though. Hardworking, sweeping, chainsaws out, trying to find ways to move on after this. I can tell you that the city has been able to get some of the lights back on. NES warned just yesterday that it was going to be days before the city had full lights and full electricity yet again. Along Main Street yesterday, all of the traffic lights were four-way stops, which was creating quite the nightmare. This morning, most of the traffic lights are now back on, at least along Main Street, even though there are a lot of parts of the city that are still without power. We're live for you this morning. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Justin, thank you. Breaking news in steer clear traffic. We have another crash to tell you about, and it is creating a huge mess on I-65 south of town. Moments ago, we took you north of town on I-65, a fire up near OHB. Now we go down to Franklin. We have a crash reported I-65 at Highway 96. Excuse the quality of this TDOT camera, that's sun glare, making it hard to see. We have all but one lane of traffic shut down right now. This crash is in the northbound lanes, so approaching Nashville as you get to the exit for Highway 96, which is Murfreesboro Road. We have another crash just up ahead of this as you get toward Moore's Lane. Best advice this morning, if you're coming into Nashville from Williamson County, maybe even Murray County, don't get on I-65. You could take Highway 31 or you could take Wilson Pike as your best detours. Carruthers Parkway would also be a good detour for you to avoid some of this.
And coming up, we are calm, but we are also very cold. How long this pattern will last before our next rain chance in your forecast.
Attention homeowners.
7:46 is the time.
We were hit once before about 7 years ago, and it took the entire roof off of us and part of the party store next to us, and we had to totally rebuild at that point.
Yeah, this morning we're hearing from so many folks who are just trying to salvage whatever they can, trying to recover, and we are continuing our team coverage right now. We know that 3 people were killed over in Madison Saturday night when a confirmed EF2 tornado touched down right near Nesbitt Lane. That is where we find Fox 17 News reporter Amanda Chen with the very latest information. Now that the sun is up, are you seeing more and more folks out there behind you trying to get into that area, Amanda?
Erica, we have not seen anyone so far. The only people that we have seen are NES crews right now, so we've seen them back and forth here, but we haven't seen any homeowners come out yet. Maybe as the sun continues to come up and people are waking up, they'll be out here trying to clean up and recover what they can from these homes. But I want my photographer Patrick to just pan on these row of homes right here. You can just see the damage that we're getting. You can see roofs completely torn off. And if you go all the way to the right, you'll see that home right there. The whole roof is off. You can see inside the home. That's how much damage this street experienced. And unfortunately, we do know that 3 people lost their lives here on this street. But Erica, right now, we still have not seen anyone.
Area where the mobile homes were, and have you been able to get down to that area, but are crews stopping you? Explain that one.
Yeah, so the area where unfortunately those folks passed away is a mobile home community. Unfortunately, there are still down power lines and debris and everything and trees blocking us access from that area, so that's why we aren't able to get there right now.
All right, Amanda Chen, thank you so much, reporting live. She is out in Madison for us, again on Nesbitt Lane. And as she was saying, the power lines are down, and that's a safety issue that they don't want anyone to get hurt.
And the thing is, you never know if a line is active or not, especially if you've not seen your power provider come into your neighborhood. Sometimes they can turn it off from where they're at. Sometimes they've got to physically be there. This is a look at preliminary storm reports. Now, we've only had 2 confirmed tornadoes, but that is because it takes a very long time to do some of these surveys, and they can only do a couple of them a day. Now, we know that the Madison area, Hendersonville area is all the same tornado up through Gallatin. They're going to be in Gallatin, the National Weather Service, later on today to survey the rest of that tornado, and we're working to see where else they may go today. Will it be Robertson County? Will it be Dickson County? Once we know, we will let you know. But we do know that we have 2 confirmed tornadoes in EF2, the one we were just talking about, where you just saw everything that Amanda was speaking about. And then we have the EF3 in Clarksville, where we have had Peyton News out there all morning long. So we're going to keep showing you those, and we're going to give you more insight to Hendersonville, where Justin McFarland has been. We're trying to just show you what we find as we find it. This is the aftermath, as I call it, where this all happens in the blink of an eye, in just a couple of minutes in your neighborhood, and then everything is just, where's everything at that I even own? Looking here, cold mornings. We are in the 20s, right side of your screen. Calm and sunny, though. That sun glare has been a bigger traffic issue than a lot of other things. This is the big issue if you're north of I-40 and all of the areas where we're still seeing power outages. No power plus a damaged home and temperatures that feel like they're in the 20s, that's not a good 1, 2, 3. So keep that in mind if you're trying to help someone out. If you've got a generator or you know a friend that does, do not use it inside of a garage. Keep it outside. And also, if you want to help out, there are many organizations you can find on fox17.com that are putting together movements to help out people. And when I mean organizations, they get organized, well thought out ways to go help where everyone is safe that is trying to get to these locations. Here are the areas that are still seeing power outages. The map looks a little bit better than it did yesterday. Not perfect, but Sumner County, Davidson County, and especially Montgomery County, shaded in green, have the most power outages here this morning. And let's take a look here out the door, what you can expect for the rest of the day. And there are rescue shelters, or not rescue shelters, but foster programs going on. Say you know a friend or you have a dog where you just really can't take care of it right now, they'll help you out. You can go get your four-legged friend back and everything will be okay whenever you have the chance and time to do so. 46 degrees by 2 p.m., 7-day forecast. We're taking a look at a 49-degree high after our start in the 20s. The nights don't get that much better. Low 30s tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. Daytimes are going to be partly cloudy to mostly sunny all this week, but we've got to get over to steer clear traffic in a little bit because there's a lot going on that you're seeing, Jen.
Yeah, we're going to go right now. Detour alert. Detour alert for Williamson County. Look at your screen, hear my voice. Do not get on I-65 right now coming into Nashville if you are Brentwood or south. We have 2 crashes. Look at the backup, I-65 at Highway 96. This backup is the result of a crash just north of this location where we have traffic barely getting by in 1 lane. Multi-vehicle crash. It is in the far right lanes of I-65 at Highway 96, which is Murfreesboro Road. Instead, again, if you can hear us and you're watching this morning from southern Williamson County down into Murray County, take your best detour to get to Nashville. That might look like for you coming in on Highway 31. Might look like Highway 431. Could also look like 252, which is Wilson Pike. Anything but getting on I-65 right now. We're also monitoring heavy delays on I-65 north of town. We've had a vehicle fire up near I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard north of town, causing a backup into Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, Gallatin. Best detour there is going to be Dickerson Pike. Don't take Gallatin Pike. We've got closures due to tornado damage. More steer clear traffic updates in minutes.
Also, now is a great time to go ahead and give a furry friend a new home. We're going to talk about how Middle Tennessee animal shelters are teaming up for Operation Silent Night and how they're helping local animals this holiday season. Stay with us.
I'm Corey B. Trine.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We're glad you're a part of our morning routine, and we're glad to be a part of yours. A live look now from downtown Nashville. I know we've had a lot of destruction. We have death from tornadoes, but, you know, just a moment here to take a breath. We've got a new day starting, new opportunities, 30 degrees. It's cold out there, folks. So bundle up as you do head out, whatever you've got on the agenda for today, and keep it here. As we get to 8 o'clock, we'll continue to be your live local news source through 9 a.m.
And we're also taking a look over on fox17.com to tell you about our #1 trending story. And as I look, it's the GoFundMe launched by the Clarksville family, or for the Clarksville family, I should say, for the 10-year-old who was killed in Saturday's devastation. I'm going to go to the GoFundMe account that is linked on this site. Right now, $96,000. Yeah.
Wait, Erica.
4 o'clock this morning, it was about $81,000. We are now at $96,000 raised for this family.
$16,000 raised just during the course of our newscast.
I think that's a good example of Tennessee Strong.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, so if you want to read more about this story, maybe you want to make a donation, go to fox17.com, and then I encourage you to sign up if you haven't already. Sign up for our Fox 17 News daily newsletter. Again, it's fox17.com.
And here's a little bit more encouragement for you, right? I think we could all use some good news and some positivity. Fox 17 News has been trying to help you this holiday season. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. We have this trivia contest where you can win a $100 Visa gift card, and that can go a long way right now. So just want to encourage you that if you'd like to have something to maybe take your mind off of things or the opportunity to win, scan a QR code. With your phone, open up the camera. Let's see if we can get it popped up here on the screen. If you open up your camera, hold it at that code, it'll give you a link. Tap the link, You register to answer today's question, and you're in to win that $100 Visa gift card. And then the grand prize winner, we do a weekly $5,000 drawing.
What?
Yeah, so I know that could just...
I missed that while I was gone.
Well, unfortunately, we can't get it. But somebody could, and that would really go a long way here this holiday season.
All right, 7:58. We're going to check in now with Greg Bobus because folks are out the door, and it's a chilly start, especially for folks who were at the school bus this morning.
Oh, absolutely. Very cold. We have wind chill temperatures that are in the middle 20s for most of us. Right side of your screen, actual temperatures. Okay, are you done with the holiday QR code? Did you have this over the weekend? Take a look. Scan this one. If you didn't have it over the weekend, get it. It could have been a lifesaver for many people. Not saying it changes anything, but it gives you that update in real time when we have severe weather that moves in. And it gives you also our current forecasts, the 7-day forecast ahead, hour by hour looks at everything. But most importantly, just for your specific county, it will go off whenever you have any issues you have to worry about when it comes to severe weather.
Steer clear traffic now. 1 minute before 8 o'clock. We continue to have several issues. One of them resolving slowly. This is I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard in Madison. All right, Old Hickory Boulevard crossing over the interstate here where we had a car fire. I would still recommend Dickerson Pike as your best detour if you're north of Nashville trying to get into town. Dickerson Pike, the best detour, not Gallatin Pike, not Old Hickory Boulevard. We've got closures both of those areas because of tornado damage. Also going to monitor and get you updated on the crash south of town on I-65 down in Franklin and let you know about anything else popping up in steer clear traffic in minutes.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Devastating destruction here in Clarksville after a tornado. An EF3 tornado ripped right through here.
And we're going to look at that in depth here in the Weather Center as well. And I'll tell you the areas they're going to look at later on today that we already know of coming up in your Code Red forecast.
And we're taking a look at the road ahead as survivors are really counting their blessings. This morning, a focus on rebuilding. You see all the devastation behind us, so rebuilding. And then where do we go forward?
Yeah, and I know it can feel like an overwhelming, daunting task when you have damage that is this significant, but it will be a piece by piece, day by day effort across Middle Tennessee. We do want to say thank you for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. Thank you so much for joining us for our final hour here. When everyone else is network, we're local, and we're talking about how you can get involved, how you can help today.
Yeah, that's going to be the story going forward.
Guys, tornado on the ground right in front of us. Right in front of us. Huge tornado on the ground.
And speaking of, as we go forward, brand new video into the Fox 17 newsroom this morning from Caleb Beecham. He's a storm chaser with the Y'all Squad. He was in Clarksville when that tornado went through. He watched it cross through that area, talking about how he never heard the sirens going off there. And that group that he's with, those storm chasers, they follow the storms and then they go to the communities impacted so that they can help later.
Well, we now know at least 6 people lost their lives. There is a preliminary report showing at least 13 tornadoes touched down on Saturday. The National Weather Service says that number, though, it could change because they're still out there surveying the damage.
Yeah, as we speak, they're in different communities looking to see what these tornadoes looked like scientifically, right, as they hit the ground. And as we continue to bring you those updates through 9 a.m., we have team coverage this morning, beginning with Peyton Muse. She's live in Clarksville.
That's right, Jen. So right where I'm standing, I'm here on Henry Place Boulevard. 3 people confirmed to have died here. They passed away, one including a little boy. I actually spoke with an officer because we've heard that it might have been all 3, but now confirmed 3 people passed away here. I want you to take a look at this area specifically. Neighbors tell me, actually the neighbors that live right next door here, this is where the little boy lived. Now, I know we mentioned his GoFundMe a little bit, and I'll let you guys go into more details on that. But from what I've heard, the neighbors told me that he was an extremely energetic kid. He loved playing outside. He loved playing with his neighbors. He would greet his neighbors every morning saying, "Hi, how are you?" Now, his name, because I don't believe that we've mentioned it, Arlen is his name. His GoFundMe, I know you guys have brought it up. It's reached a significant amount of donations, but as you can see, the devastation here doesn't take away from the lives that are lost. Those cannot be replaced. Reporting live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. Our team coverage this Monday morning here on Fox 17 News is now going to continue with Amanda Chen, who is over in Madison. Amanda, you've been there since about 4 o'clock this morning. What are you seeing now? Has it picked up any more when it comes to volunteers or crews out there?
Erica, we've definitely seen some crews out here. We've seen NES crews driving by. We also just saw a restoration company go into this home right here. So we are assuming that they are assessing the damage. You can tell from this home, very major damage here. The left side of the roof completely torn off. And if you pan over, you can just see these homes right here, how much damage they all have, especially that home all the way to the right. You can just see inside that building. You can see the homes, a bedroom, probably a living room. That just shows just how much damage this all did. And as we know that there have been 3 deaths on this street, including the death of a 2-year-old child. And Metro Police say a man's mobile home rolled on top of the other home. Now, I know Jen was saying yesterday the street wasn't passable here, and I just tried taking a walk over to the mobile home community area. You can't get past it because there are just downed power lines and trees blocking the entire rest of the roadway. So very dangerous to walk over that and walk over those downed power lines. But we'll continue to keep you updated. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
8:04 our time, and I do have some confirmation in the last 10 minutes or so of where the National Weather Service will be today to survey more damage. And this is quoting them here: Dickson County, Springfield, Cheatham, the White Bluff area, and then if they can get back out to the Gallatin area to finish the path that they started yesterday, those are the areas that we'll have more information about as we go throughout the rest of today. So we're going to continue to piece this puzzle together, and you can see how many red dots are on the screen. There's still a lot more work to be done, but those are the areas that we know crews will be trying to get out to throughout the day to see what level strength these tornadoes were as they passed into Middle Tennessee.
Greg, thank you. More breaking news and steer clear traffic right now. This is I-24 inbound to Nashville. We have a full interstate stoppage right now due to several cars involved in a crash. Heads up, this is going to be a detour alert. We have another one, folks. Earlier, we had a couple on I-65. Now this is I-24. This is inbound to Nashville, right at the Waldron Road interchange. So if you're watching or listening this morning from Murfreesboro, I would recommend not getting on I-24. We have a full interstate stoppage. Not only that, they've stopped traffic from getting off the exit at Waldron. So you can't get off the exit and you can't go through on the interstate. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 cars involved in this crash. Several first responders. TDOT has the entire interstate shut down. Detour alert for you. You could take Old Nashville Highway. You could take Lowry Street as it goes up through Williamsburg from Murfreesboro up into Smyrna and Laverne. Again, recommending do not get on I-24 if you're in Smyrna or Murfreesboro this morning. Even if you're on the south side of Laverne, take that detour, stay off of I-24. We'll monitor this for you and bring you more breaking news, steer clear traffic updates in minutes.
There are 2 mid-state counties that have canceled school after the deadly tornadoes over this weekend. We want to let you know what you need to keep in mind for the rest of the week for any students heading back to the classroom.
And I'm live this morning in Hendersonville, where things are getting better, but at the same time, still, there's so much work to do. I'm going to show you one restaurant where I don't think anyone's going to be dining anytime soon.
Welcome to MasterChef Junior.
It was absolutely terrifying. Like 2 minutes, everything you worked on your whole life just completely gone.
Fox 17 News.
Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland is outside of the studio. He is over there in Hendersonville this morning speaking with business owners, trying to figure out what's the next step is in that area. So where exactly are you right now, Justin?
Well, good morning. We're just outside of the Fortune House. It's a restaurant here on Main Street where they have got something that we have seen all over town, and that is these yellow signs right there. Let me read it for you. It says, "Danger, this building is deemed unsafe for human occupancy." And it was signed there by the building official here in Hendersonville on December the 10th of 2023. And when you look up above, it's easy to see why they would sign something like that. The roof damage here at this particular business is rather extensive. As a matter of fact, you can still see the water dripping down from the signs and other pieces of building here. So this building is unsafe, and it's not just this building that's like this. There are other businesses. This business right next door that also has a yellow sign on the front of it. We've also seen several homes in a few of the neighborhoods that have got those yellow signs. So they want to make sure that the buildings are safe, not just for people to live inside or go inside and conduct business, but also for contractors who need to come in here and do work to try and get these buildings back open. But they're saying in their current state, that isn't going to happen. The good news here in Hendersonville is they've got the streets reopened here. We will tell you more about that as we go on. For now, we're live in Sumner County. Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your co-red station.
Justin, thank you. We are keeping you in the know here at Fox 17 News as you head out the door this Monday morning. All Clarksville, Montgomery County schools are going to be closed today and tomorrow as they get in there and assess the damage on campus and the surrounding communities. All Sumner County schools, they're also going to be closed today because of widespread power outages. We've been talking about that all morning long. Now here in Metro Nashville, Bellshire Elementary School going to be operating on a 2-hour delay. I'm sure that the parents and the students and the teachers already know that though. But we do have all of these updates and the more updates that you're going to see throughout the rest of this week. You can find all of that by going to fox17.com.
Another good point of information here this morning as we take a look at, how we're moving forward and whatnot, folks, is we just got word from the United Way of Sumner County, who is now teaming up with the Sumner County Hendersonville Area Chamber of Commerce. Guys, they are going to be coordinating efforts at the streets of Indian Lake. That's the shopping center, the big one right there in Hendersonville. They're going to coordinate efforts there. So if you're looking for ways to help, especially in Hendersonville, the streets of Indian Lake, the suite D160 is where to go.
That's fantastic.
And what we can expect here is if, you want to do anything to help out, cold is the name of the game, but no more rain. And this is one thing people have brought up. When it comes to the weather, what happened over the weekend, they go, I didn't hear the siren until the storm was already here. Well, there are 3 big things to know about outdoor tornado sirens. They're not in every county. They're just not. And even if they are in your county, they might not be close to where you live. They're made for outdoor use when you're on the go, not when you're in your house. You might not hear it. Maybe you got the sports game on and you got it cranked up loud. Even if that thing is down the block, you might not hear it all that well. And we and the Weather Service don't control those. They're controlled locally. Get the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. That's going to be your best resource to make sure that you're staying safe as you're getting up and out the door. You can just go to the App Store, Google Play Store, type in Code Red. You got it. And it'll only go off if you have any severe weather in your area. Right side of your screen, we have been cold the whole morning, and that has not changed. We're still in the 20s to right near 30 degrees, and we'll only be in the 40s later on this afternoon with that bright blue sky and tons of sunshine.
Greg, thank you very much. 8:13 is the time right now. We have several issues in steer clear traffic. Want to make sure that you know before you go. Good news on one crash that we've been following on I-24. We'll get to that in minutes.
And Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is sharing his condolences and continuing to survey storm damage areas. We're going to share his message for the community. Stay with us.
With the Freestyle Libre.
8:16 is the time. Want to tell you about Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, who was out in this video surveying storm damage and meeting with homeowners impacted by Saturday's deadly tornado. Governor Bill Lee says the destruction is just heartbreaking.
It's sobering. What we have witnessed today across the state of Tennessee, really sad, really heartbreaking. The victim I just got through talking to lost everything that he has. We need to remember those folks. We need to pray for them. We need to step in and volunteer for them. We do have services on the ground all across the state that are there to help.
Now, Governor Bill Lee also wants folks to understand the state has begun the process of applying to the federal government in order to get that disaster aid.
You know, and one of the big pieces of this puzzle is getting power back on to folks who, you know, are able to receive it if their home and their lines aren't damaged beyond repair. So we're tracking the power outages and the progress that our companies are making, like NES. This is a look at the power outage map. We currently have about 6,300 customers without power. That means paying households. Far more people than that impacted, but about 6,300 customers. That's down from approximately 10,000 this morning. So we have had an improvement. We've got big clusters of outages in the western zone of Nashville. And here's downtown Nashville, for example. If we look up toward Madison, clusters in Madison, up into Hendersonville, that's where we're seeing the highest number of power outages still this morning. And those NES crews are working hard. They work 24/7. They bring on crews to work certain hour shifts. Those crews are relieved, more step in. There's not a minute of the day that somebody's not working to get your power restored. So please show some patience and kindness as they work to get everybody back online.
Kindness is key. In Fox 17 News, we need your help to tell the stories of the tornado outbreak, okay? You can see all of our viewer photos over on fox17.com, but going to that website is also how you can go ahead and share your own photos and videos. Okay, go to chime in at fox17.com. Make it happen. We want to share your videos. And of course, be safe whenever taking those photos and videos. Greg.
That's the biggest thing here is the safety factor of it. The safer we can be, the better we're going to be. The aftermath is the big thing that we are talking about and we'll continue to cover, but I also have to get you just out the door every day as well and make sure you know what you can expect. Cold mornings for the rest of the week. This morning, right side of your screen, we're already past 8 o'clock and the sun's been up for, over an hour, almost an hour and a half, and we're only in the upper 20s to right near 30. So we're still cold. Every morning will be just like this all week, but calm and sunny. Here's what it feels like when you factor in a little bit of a breeze this morning. It's 27 in Nashville. The areas that were hard hit, you think Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin. You get out toward the Clarksville area up into southern Kentucky, Todd and Logan County. You have temperatures that feel like you are in the middle 20s, and they have not budged the entire morning. So it's going to be a long week when it comes to starts, especially if you still do not have power. To give the broad picture that Jen was just talking about as far as where the most power outages are at, they're going to be Davidson County up to Sumner County, Cheatham County, and especially Montgomery County. And they're trying the best they can, like we've been talking about, to get everything back online for you. Here's your 7-day forecast, and there's the confirmation in the blue boxes of those temperatures that are going to stay very cold in the upper 20s and low 30s. We're going to go to 49 degrees this afternoon, 56 tomorrow. So we're back to the 50s for the afternoons, but just those cold starts.
All right, how about a good news update when it comes to those steer clear traffic updates? 8:20 is the time, so how about this? I-24 Waldron Road. That's where you can see the traffic is now moving a little bit faster. They still have a crash incident that they're clearing on the right shoulder there. This is inbound to Nashville. Again, I-24 at Waldron Road. Do give yourself a little bit of extra time as we continue monitoring this situation and your steer clear traffic updates.
Well, this morning, we have a warning for anybody who has been a victim of these tornadoes. There are different legitimate groups that are sharing information on how to recover your property. So first of all, we don't want you to fall for scammers, but also the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance is saying, if you have storm damage and impacted here, remember, file your claim with your insurance company as soon as possible. Take pictures, take video to document your claim. Make necessary repairs to prevent further damage, right? Even if it's, you heard Greg mention this morning, getting a tarp over some areas that are exposed. That would be a good first step. Save all of your receipts. Yeah, like if you've got receipts of things that you're buying now, those can be reimbursed. If you're denied a claim, you can file a complaint with the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance. We'll get all this information for you over at fox17.com. We have a ton of good resources there. In the meantime, you can find this post on their Facebook and Twitter pages.
Yeah, save those receipts for sure. At least one person critically injured in a shooting that happened over in East Nashville. We're going to tell you what investigators have shared so far with us.
And I mentioned just a moment ago a warning about scammers. These are predators. people who prey on victims. And they really take aim after disasters like what we've had here. So we're going to share with you important information on how you can avoid getting scammed.
So you get hit by a drunk driver.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 8:24. Joining us live on the phone is Sherry McKinney, the Regional Director of Communications for the American Red Cross, our Tennessee region.
Yeah, so Sherry, we do want to ask you first, what shelters are currently open for folks who are in need?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you all so much for giving us time to let the folks know about this. We have in Clarksville, Northeast High School at 3701 Trenton Road. In Hendersonville, the Cornerstone Church at 1410 Stop 30 Road. In Nashville, the Madison Community Center at 550 North DuPont Avenue. In Dickson, the Dickson YMCA at 225 Hensley Drive. And in Springfield, the Center Community Center at 401 North Main Street.
And Sherry, if someone needs to go to one of these shelters, tell us what they're going to receive when they get there. What can you do for them?
Well, the shelters are there to provide comfort for people following these terrible, terrible tornadoes, as well as providing food and the necessary needs that they may have. Such some people who lost everything have lost everything. This includes medical equipment. This includes their prescriptions. This includes their eyeglasses. We have people there who can help assist get those returned to them. We are also there providing mental health care as well as spiritual care. We will start casework for residents that show up at shelters so that we can find out exactly where their homes were located and how we can get the needed items for them to get on the road to recovery.
All of that is fantastic. Sherry, I do want to ask you, too, what about pets? Folks who have pets and they also need a place to shelter.
We are accepting pets in some shelters, but please be aware not all shelters are operated by the American Red Cross. Some of them we are assisting with our community partners, and they may have other rules and regulations with their shelters.
All right, Sherry, thank you for that update. By the way, we will get that complete list for all of our areas, Clarksville, Hendersonville, Nashville, Dickson, and Springfield. We'll get that posted on the website as a valuable resource for you. Sherry McKinney, thank you for your time this morning. Do appreciate you. And if you do need someplace to go and where you're going doesn't accept a pet, we also have resources at fox17.com to tell you about locations that will foster your pet.
That's absolutely right.
In the meantime.
Right now, we're going to talk about the Metro Nashville Police Department that is investigating a shooting over in East Nashville.
Right. Police telling us this shooting happened in the 800 block of Dickerson Pike just yesterday. We understand this morning one person is in critical condition. Nobody's in custody right now. So we'll keep you updated both right here on the air through 9 and online as the information becomes available.
When it comes to your weather outlook, that's all. Greg Bobus, good morning.
And we've got you covered, and it's cold. So maybe you're going to help out a little bit and just drop a warm breakfast off for someone who doesn't have power right now. Temperatures are in the 20s. They'll be in the 30s all the way until about 11 o'clock this morning. 40 degrees at 11, 43 at noon. Sunshine the entire morning into the afternoon.
Thank you, Greg. At 8:27, preliminary reporting shows 13 tornadoes touched down over the weekend. Fox 17 News getting updates this morning and what we're expecting as these surveyors head to your areas as the cleanup is underway.
Why not get a gift? You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Most importantly, we need to remember the victims, and there are a lot of them. People that have lost their lives, people that have lost everything that they own.
A community united as we continue to hear more reaction this morning. We're bringing you team coverage and the very latest updates as we survey the damage left behind by this weekend's deadly tornadoes.
The big weather story this morning is the cold. We have temperatures that are in the 20s and 30s. Sunshine across the board. How long it lasts before the next chance for rain.
And steer clear traffic updates for you live through 9 a.m. This is the backup coming into Nashville along I-65 from north of town. We'll let you know anything else that's popped up and how you can steer clear in minutes.
But first, let's get started by thanking you for waking up with us here on a Monday morning, a busy Monday morning on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Yes, we want to say thank you to everyone who's been joining us for our coverage all weekend and into this morning. As we continue on, we're not only sharing updates on the damage, but also how our communities are going to start that process of rebuilding.
Absolutely. We are going to go with breaking news this morning, though, because we want to let you know Metro Nashville police say one person was killed in an overnight shooting. We're mapping this all out on your screen. Police letting us know it happened around 3 o'clock this morning at a home on Thompson Lane. They do also tell us they, as of right now, don't have anyone in custody. We're going to continue updating this story, though, as we get some more updates.
And as we continue to bring you the stories from the devastating, deadly tornadoes over the weekend, I want you to look at the picture on your screen right here. This little boy lost his life in the Clarksville tornadoes, and now efforts are underway to help his family. Just 10 years old, and the community working to raise money through a GoFundMe page. What you're seeing here on your screen is a picture of Arlen. Little Arlen. And Erica, we have an update now on the GoFundMe, which previously stood at $79,000. What is it now?
So it's more than $102,000.
And that much money has been raised just during the course of our newscast.
Correct.
This is Arlen Burnham. This is the GoFundMe for his surviving family members who lost their entire house, but more importantly, their little boy. And this is just heartbreaking to think that they have to go through Christmas.
Yeah. Right now, we're going to send it over to Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse, joining us live from Clarksville this Monday morning. Peyton, you've been out there since 4 o'clock this morning. There is so much devastation behind you. Are you seeing more folks who are up and about, maybe crews who are out there helping with the recovery process?
Absolutely. More people are here. I see a lot of police officers. There's people that are driving through, coming up, sort of scoping out the area, seeing what they can do. I saw some guy earlier with a ladder. Not exactly too sure which house he went to go help out, but I know even more people are going to come back here today, because yesterday when I walked through here, there was hundreds of people just wanting to help. But I think, again, we got confirmation from from an officer that told us 3 people did die on this block, Henry Place Boulevard. And I want to step out a little bit just so you guys can take a quicker look. Right where we are right now, right what you're seeing is where the little boy used to live. Now, one thing that we do want to show you, this right here, a Nerf gun. This is a symbol, a memory of what used to be. A little boy lived here with his family. From what I know, he had a sister. I'm not too sure how many other siblings that he had, but this is just take with it what you can. Now, these other 2 areas over here, also 2 adults passed away. They died from the tornado, 150-mile-per-hour winds that ripped through this area. We know that the width of the tornado was 600 yards. That's about 6 football fields, to put that into perspective. And we know around 50 miles is the path of this tornado. But live in Clarksville, I'm Peyton Muse with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you so much. It is so hard to see all of that devastation. So right now we're taking a look over on our Fox Nashville Facebook page as we try to remain Tennessee strong. That is what it is all about. And we want to hear from you. Always. What is it about Tennesseans? This is what we're asking. What is it about Tennesseans that makes us so resilient in the face of all of this devastation? Right behind me is our Facebook page that we have set up. I'm going to read some of the responses that we're getting from you all. One response says, community, empathy, compassion, unselfishness, love. We all need to help one another. Another comment that we have is, Tennessee is definitely a caring state. Everyone takes care of their neighbors. I'm definitely going to miss the hospitality. Tennessee, always her hometown. How about one more? I like this one. Nicole Penley writing, We are built different. They don't call us the Tennessee Volunteers for nothing.
No.
I truly agree with that. We are built different here in Tennessee, even though I'm from South Carolina. I'm calling Tennessee my home. Hey, Greg, I'm sending it on over to you, checking in for our weather update this Monday.
Yeah, and there is an update here this morning. We've been talking about the 2 confirmed tornadoes that we already have. Here's one of them that's on your screen. This is the Clarksville tornado. It's an EF3. But we have information into the Weather Center saying that their surveys will continue to figure out more extent of the damage and what these ratings of these tornadoes were that came through. Their areas of concern today that they're going to monitor and survey are going to be Dickson County, Springfield, Cheatham and the White Bluff area, and probably more work on Davidson County and Sumner counties if they have time to get out there before the sun goes down. So when we start to get their information, we're going to bring it into the Weather Center for you so you know what's going on. It'll be on social media, and we'll have it in our newscast later on today. So that's their work today, and then we'll have even more information to piece this all together day by day throughout this week.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Right now, let's get into steer clear traffic and see how things are shaping up on your morning commute. This is I-65 at the I-24 junction. TDOT has just readjusted the framing of this shot, and I love it. I don't love the backup, but I love how it shows us the perspective of downtown Nashville off in the distance. So the brake lights, everybody filing into Nashville from north of town. This is a standard slowdown. There is nothing here that is worth a detour necessarily in the sense that there's no crash. All right, this is just bumper to bumper traffic filing into downtown Nashville. Also still monitoring a slowdown in Murray County and southern Williamson County after a crash on I-65. You probably don't need the detour anymore there, but just know it's a little bit slow coming in from south of town. And we just continue to monitor a slowdown on I-24 after a crash near Harding Place. So just, give yourself a little bit of extra time, be extra time and be extra kind today is what I wanted to say. Just, a lot of people are hurting right now across the mid-state. And so every little thing we can do to make the day easier, let's see if we can't do that.
We are live this morning in Hendersonville where the work is going on in full swing. We're going to tell you about the process of trying to get a tree off one local business.
He was cheating. He had been seen.
It was very hurtful. We were hit once before about 7 years ago, and it took the entire roof off of us and part of the party store next to us, and we had to totally rebuild at that point.
Just a tough situation, but thankfully the lights are slowly coming back on for folks over in Hendersonville. In a few hours, we know crews are going to be back out there. They probably already are working to go ahead and recover from this very powerful storm. That is where we find Fox 17 News reporter Justin McFarland live in Hendersonville with a look at the damage and the progress, Justin, being made out there.
Yeah, good morning. We're just outside of a beauty salon here on Main Street in Hendersonville, the Lyric House Beauty Company here. And what you're looking at is the Sumner Tree and Log Company. And they are in the process of removing a very large tree from on top of this business. Now, they tell me this job alone is going to take at least 3 to 4, possibly as many as 5 hours just to get this one tree off this one business, and then they've got tons more to do after that. There are businesses and houses all over Hendersonville in this exact same condition that need their services and others to try and recover. Now, we have been watching the folks here in Hendersonville. They've been going around town cleaning up. A lot of people hauling branches, sweeping up. We've also seen several people just trying to figure out what to do next. I spoke with one gentleman who was able to survive the storm. He told me that he needed the number to the American Red Cross. He says he hadn't even begun the process of trying to recover because he's had to go to work. He had to go to work and didn't have time to even look at his belongings, and he was missing the roof on his house when he told me that. Now, you guys were talking about the Tennessee Spirit a little bit earlier this morning. I wanted to pass this along. There is a company called Bernard Farms in Orlando. They dropped off this biscuit, not just to me, but to all the workers back here. They're driving around town, dropping off biscuits like this to people out here doing work. So shout out to them up there in Orlando, just making that Tennessee experience or that Tennessee spirit shine a little brighter this morning here in Hendersonville. We're live for you. I'm Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
It is so good to see the work already being done on all the just generosity. The aftermath is the big story. Cold mornings will continue. I'll see how long we stay cold but also calm coming up in your forecast.
Preparing for prime time. Former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders, love him. Going to break down the Monday night matchup. That's tonight in South Florida against the Dolphins. Stay with us.
Experience the warmth of
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 8:46 and we have team coverage after the deadly tornadoes that came through Middle Tennessee. We know that 3 people alone died in Madison, 2 adults and a 2-year-old when an EF2 tornado went down along Nesbitt Lane. Nesbitt Lane, by the way, is a connector between Graycroft and Gallatin Pike. You know, a lot of homes, a residential area, and just families changed forever there now. Yeah, right now, Fox 17 News reporter Amanda Chin is out there. She has another update for us. You're joined by someone right beside you. I see a pet. Amanda, what is it?
Hey, Erica. Yes, I am joined right now by Life and little Rico here. Rico was inside when it happened, and Life's aunt, this is her house right next to us. We are standing by. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you just take us through kind of the damage that your aunt experienced? You just went inside and saw it all for yourself.
Yeah, the damage is pretty awful. Like, you can literally walk upstairs and look up and see the bright sky in her room. There is broken ceiling, the wall has cracked, the back porch has like literally split in half and shifted. It's only one room that was left untouched in a whole home. Now, as it was happening, she said she woke up. You know, she needed to charge her phone. She put her phone on the charger. In about 10 minutes, as her phone was charging, she said she heard a train. It was like a freight train. And then all of a sudden, she realized that it wasn't a train. It was an actual tornado. So she said she just grabbed Rico. She laid on the floor and she just prayed. And she asked God to just cover her and to keep her and Rico. And she said during the actual tornado, she had a peace and a calm that came over her heart. And she knew that she was going to be okay. She said just as fast as it came, it went away. And when she got up, she was unharmed. Rico was unharmed. But the entire home was just destroyed. Like, there's no way we can really salvage anything in a home.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. How is your aunt doing?
She's doing well, actually. She was a little shooken up. It was almost like a Tyler Perry drama. We rode up to come and get her, and she was walking up the street, you know, with the puppy. She was crying. It was raining. You know, we picked her up and we took her home. You know, now she's calm. She's just happy for her life and happy for the neighbors, you know, because the neighbors, you know, out in the community, you know, they all band together, you know, and help each other. Like, her car was stuck and the neighbor next door literally helped her pull branches out so she can get her car out. So even though it was such a devastating event, it's a natural disaster, so it's out of everybody's hand. But it was just a blessing how the community came together, you know, and supported one another. So right now we're all just doing good. We're just happy we got our lives.
Well, thank you so much, Life. We appreciate it. And we're so glad to hear that you all are okay and that Rico is okay. Thank you so much. This is just one of many examples of people and folks here in the community who are left to pick up the pieces and recovery efforts underway. But for now, reporting live in Madison, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
8:49 your time. We're going to continue to find as many stories as we can just to tell the spirit of what we're doing. I mean, even Justin out there watching people trying to remove the debris from homes, people driving around just handing out biscuits, stuff like that goes a real long way. Now, preliminary storm reports mean we don't have all the info yet, but we know there could have been up to 13 tornadoes. We have the reports of 2 of them that are already in. The Clarksville tornado with an EF3, 150 mile per hour wind speed. That is as strong as a Category 4 hurricane that rolled through. And it was 600 yards wide. That is 6 football fields. Put those numbers together. Let it sink in. We also have the EF2 that went through the Madison-Hendersonville area, and they're going to continue to watch that survey. What they're going to do today, and this is broke since 8 o'clock here, and you're only going to get it from us here live, Dickson County, Springfield, Cheatham, like the White Bluff area too. Probably more work on Davidson and Sumner counties later today if they have enough time. Whenever any of those results come out, we'll let you know right here on air.
Greg, thank you so much. At 8:50 right now, steer clear traffic starting to improve a little bit. This is a slight backup I-40 at Spence Lane, just that one center lane with a bit of bumper-to-bumper action. But overall, we have seen improvements. I-65 north and south of town easing up a little bit after several crashes through there. I-24 not as bad coming in from Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne. Your I-40 this morning commute has been pretty good from east and west of town. No problems from Bellevue all the way to Mount Juliet. We'll check in again on steer clear traffic in a couple of minutes and just remind you that we do have some secondary roads that are closed as a result of tornado damage. So we'll check that again before we leave you at 9.
Next on Fox 17 News this morning, we're continuing our tracking of the aftermath of Saturday's deadly tornadoes. How you can stay up to date with everything that's going on, whether that be going to a shelter or volunteering. We're going to update you. Stay with us.
When you get Hughes and Coleman, it can
Right now, we're going to recap some of our top stories this Monday morning to get you out the door. The city of Nashville is currently still in a state of emergency after the deadly Saturday tornado.
Yes, so Davidson County impacted, most specifically in Madison, where we had 3 people who died on Nesbitt Lane. Mayor O'Connell saying that they are turning their attention toward helping all the people so deeply impacted, get power back, get a roof over their heads, get food, and help their families. Here we are right ahead of Christmas. Also, if you're impacted, 1-800-RED Cross is the number to call if you need a place to stay in the meantime.
And Tennesseans who wish to go ahead and donate can also visit the website. We have all of this, though. We got you covered. Go to fox17.com.
Yeah, and we'll continue to track all the damage as it moves in. Look at some of the video right there on your screen. All the videos are posted on fox17.com. We're going to be getting much more information today. We told you starting at 8 o'clock it broke that we now know where they're going to be surveying. I've already tweeted out the locations of where they're going to be today. Areas like Dickson County, Cheatham, especially we were talking about earlier, all those images from Springfield. So we'll have much more information as we get into the rest of today on air, online, on social media. That's the map. If you've got a red bullet near where you're at, or maybe you don't, but if you do, those are the areas that we're still watching for power outages. Yeah.
And you were talking about Springfield. We had the city manager on with us live in the 7 o'clock hour, Ryan Martin, who said, if you're in Robertson County and you've got a chainsaw and you want to help, come on out. Memorial Drive near the Kroger is where they're asking people to stage and set up to get organized to go out and help.
And hey, if you have any advice for us as far as shelters that are going to be open or areas that need some help that maybe they're getting together.
Maybe you're doing your own community activism.
Let us know. We want to share that good news on Fox 17 News.
And many folks staying in their homes as well. Watch out for your neighbor. If they have to go to the grocery store, watch their houses too. Watch for people that aren't from your neighborhood. Keep everyone safe. Everyone's belongings safe.
Yeah, good advice. All right, that's going to wrap up our time here this morning. Make sure you join us for Fox 17 News at 5:30 later today.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so honored to have on the show an incredible Americana and bluegrass artist. Actually, he plays all styles of music. Singer, songwriter, and guitarist Gary Brewer. Thanks for coming on the show.
Eric, it's a pleasure to be here, buddy.
Especially with a great new album, Gary Brewer's House of Axes, which, as I mentioned earlier before we came in studio, I've listened to your music for years with you and the Kentucky Ramblers. Yeah. But, wow.
What I did, Eric, was take a handful of hand-chosen guitars out of my collection.
Right.
And kind of done a little story about each guitar for each song. So every song has a different guitar and a different story.
Right.
So this is one of them that's featured on the record.
Which is an incredible Martin guitar.
It really is. We won't get into too much of it, but it's a Porter Wagner special edition, and it's called the Wagon Master. And it was signed by Porter, and it was done up, and the main guy that put it together made sure it was Marty Stewart. So they were both, I have both signatures on it. There was 71 of these